right, buddy. Welcome to the Thursday night forum, Arsenal fan circle here. You're all very welcome. Pull up a chair and let's get down to it. Arsenal 2, Liverpool 2, a game that could have ended with any result possible. The way it worked out, we could have taken all 3 points. We could have lost all 3 points. We could have conceded about 3 goals in the second half. We've got one Aaron Ramsdale to commend and hold up as our player of the game. 3 world-class saves, one against Nunez, one against Salah, and one right at the end with Konate. And then even with that movement, we could have transitioned and won the game in the 96 minutes. So this game had everything going. And but we'll get into it. Welcome, Gary. Thanks for joining tonight.
Yep. Hello. Thanks for having me on. Yeah.
Go ahead.
No. It is. Yeah. I mean, some people have been asking if it's points dropped or a point gained. It all depends on how you look at it. Going in, we'll take at the beginning of the season, you take a point.
Mm.
At the stage that we're at in the season, we needed the 3 points, especially if we are competing for top of the league. But it is Liverpool. They are a big club. They do have a serious home advantage no matter what's going on. So I would like to say it is what it is, but it is a little disappointing that we didn't get the 3 points, because if we can't get it now when they're struggling, what's to say we're going to be able to get it in the future when they maybe respond to how the season went? So, yeah, that's the other side of it.
And look, that team, as you mentioned, are struggling away from home. They seem to be a different animal at home. Only Leeds in the league have beaten them. And, Alisson had to give Leeds a back pass in the first 5 minutes to enable Leeds to do that. They've beaten Man City 1-0 at home. They've beaten Man United 7-0 at home. Newcastle 2-1 at home. So this Liverpool team is a different animal. I don't know how to explain it. I'm not a Liverpool supporter. I will keep saying that. But I'll leave. Stan, what are your thoughts on the draw? Just for your initial salvo, and welcome.
Good evening, everyone. Yeah. Still much the same as I felt really on Sunday. 2 points have been dropped, but the race is still on. I think that there were a couple of things in the game that could have maybe helped us get all 3 points. I think the substitutions were still a little bit off to me when I think back about it. But the race is still on, and we're almost there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the race is still on, and in this April, if we hold serve, right, beat West Ham, beat Southampton, we'll talk about West Ham a little bit later. That'll be 6 points. We will expect probably City to beat Leicester on Saturday as well, Gary. That's the only league game apart from when we meet each other. So looking for Arsenal to win these next 2 and see what happens against City, but we're not expecting anything that Leicester can do for us.
Yeah, no, we can't be expecting other teams to help us out. We need to do the job. We kind of did that. Hopefully the team realizes that last season, when we needed teams to do things at the end of the season, that they don't necessarily do that, and you have to do your job. So
have it in your own hands, right?
Yeah. We need to. We have control. Well, I like to say we have only control, but we don't have the only control. City with a win, and with a game in hand and a win at home against Arsenal definitely controls the situation. But Arsenal with a win at Ethihad is in control. It gets the control back, fully, and that's what we did. We gave them. They have 2 wins that they definitely need to get, and we need to, as you say, win these next 2, and then we'll see what happens when we go over there. They have to win, We just have to draw. So it is a little bit of it's more on their shoulders to win, but they've shown that they're good enough to get that win, and we need to be strong enough to make them earn a point if they want to do that at all. So, like Liverpool, I would like to say they earned the 1 point that they got, but we kind of gave them 60 minutes to do it. So maybe we need to play 90 minutes, and I've been saying it all season, right? We've been playing 90 minutes, and we know at any point in the game we can do our job. Liverpool game, not so much. We weren't able to respond when we needed to. We've responded all season within games and everything like that. That this game on on Sunday, we did not respond once we gave them a little bit of an opening, and when they drew it, we still had opportunities to get it back, and we couldn't do it. So yeah, 90 minutes. 90 minutes.
Yeah, I watched the game back, and it's quite a different watch when you walk it back, knowing the result and knowing when the goals are going to happen. At the time on Sunday, I was very nervous, feeling the intensity of the situation. But Liverpool, while we weren't in control, we kept them at bay for much parts of that game, other than the big chances, Stan, that we gave up in the second half. Nunez, Salah, and Konate, and the penalty.
Yeah, our goalkeeper really helped us out. But I've listened to a lot of neutrals talk about this game, and they talk about, oh, what a fantastic game of football. I didn't see it like that. I didn't see it as a really great, sort of like, and as a neutral, a fantastic game. I didn't see it like that at all. I think there's been much better games during the season that we've even been involved in, to be fair. So I don't agree with that analysis at all. But it's a little bit. I'm a little bit nervous now because I hope it's not a case where Man City seem to be coming into much better form than they've had maybe at the beginning of the season, and is it a case that we're not going to be able to maintain ours?
Yeah, and as Gary said, I think the players just need to focus on their own results. We can't control. There's only one time we're going to control what Man City can do, and that's when we face them at the end of this month. And our player, we got 8 games left, and we got to gather as many points as possible in those 8 games.
Yeah.
If you take our last 8 games, we've won 7 and drawn 1, and that we draw 1 and win 7. That's going to probably be more than enough to win the title. Now, we know it's the most fight. The last 8 games are going to be the toughest in there. Stan, what's the mentality? We beat West Ham, we beat Southampton, and City beat Leicester on Saturday. So we meet Manchester City away from home with a 9-point gap, but they will have 2 games in hand plus the game that we're going to play. Are you worried about the mentality? Could be, well, a draw could be enough. The media may spin it like this is Man City's only chance to get back into this title race, a win against Arsenal.
I don't see Arsenal's mentality playing for a draw. I think they go out to try and win every game.
Yeah,
maybe during the game they may change tactics to try and hold on to what they've got, but I think they go into every game to try and get all 3 points, and I think that will be the case when we face Man City. I don't think I think if anything, that's going to be the one game where they really want to get all 3 points. If they can take Man City at the Ethihad, that would be a great boost of confidence to the team.
Yeah. And I really don't care how we do it as long as we win this title. I don't care as long as we win the title, I'll take any result. If Man City can say we didn't get a point against them, well, we were more consistent than them through the league. But of course, for chest and for clout, I would like to be able to say we got a win at the Etihad, and we thoroughly deserve to win this title. You know what I mean?
I'll just remind you again. Remember when Leicester won the league You know,
Yeah.
we managed to beat them twice. I don't think anybody else did. So, you know, it doesn't all hinge on the Man City game, but we just got to make sure that the other results are kept tidy as well.
Exactly. Welcome to the Thursday Night Forum, everyone. BX Gunners in here. Evening, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. Tony is in the green room, but I don't see. I just see a background, so I'll bring him in when I see it.
Probably gone to the kitchen to grab himself a Bud Light.
Stephen, the Arsenal misfit. Gentlemen, hope you're all good. We hope they'll be consumed with Real Madrid, that they'll slip up. Here's Tony now.
They also have that as a distraction as well, right? They also have that going on.
Yeah. And look, whilst they beat Bayern Munich 3-0, I didn't see the game. I didn't see the highlights. I understand it was an impressive result and performance. The tie's not over. They're going to have to respect Bayern in their own backyard as well. And that's going to require travel and the 11, 12, 13 players to play that game.
Thanks for 5 minutes after I got here telling me my camera was backward turning.
Yeah, I saw some. Certainly wasn't your face. Arsenal misfit. We did great first 30, 35 minutes, but then we went back into that shell that has cropped up a few times this season. We stopped pressing and just invited them to pile on the pressure, and we cracked. Yeah, listen, Liverpool, I would have liked us to play a lot better, and we did revert into our shell. And we've been talking about being pragmatic and being progressive. I thought we turned into being pragmatic very early in the second half. Revenites here, big up John. Good game on the weekend. Yeah, it was a good game. You guys got to hold your nerve. This City are relentless. Trust me, I know, but still hope you guys win. Yeah, Gary, speak to the mentality. We were just talking to Stan about 9-point lead, 2 games at hand, and we play each other.
Yeah. No, I mean, as you say, we just have to win one game at a time. That's all I've been asking for. So this is we can't even. That's 3 games from now. We got 2 games that are most important to us right now. We get the 6 points out of those games. We get the 3 points out of the next one. Then we'll talk about it. As I said, coming in, I wanted us to have to win the 3 games. You know, going into getting into that City match, just because I think that puts us in a good position. And then we'll see what happens at that point. Yeah, I think a lot of you guys are talking about a lot of the fans being happy about the way this game went. It just all it does is it creates that that whole the whole agenda that Arsenal bottled it. You know, they can keep bringing that up, even though for the whole season everybody has said City can run off 10 games straight. So to say you bottled it, even though this is the best team in the Premier League over the last number of years, and as much as we want to believe that just because they're playing in the Champions League that they will be, their attention will
Stretched.
will be distracted. I don't believe so. They've been doing this for years now, winning leagues and playing deep into the Champions League. So Real Madrid this year has shown that they are good, but they're not. I don't even know if they're winning their league right now. So they're not where they usually are in terms of dominance in the sport. So I kind of feel like we just have to do our job. When we play in Etihad, we know we can go out there and play a good game, and that's what we need to do.
Yeah.
Our away form's pretty good.
Huh?
Our away form's been pretty good as well.
We are top.
Yeah.
We're top of the league. We are top of the league when it comes to the away form as well.
And we haven't, outside of Saliba, we're pretty strong, and we have answers if we use them wisely. In terms of how we want to get a game, get through a game. So, I think we used what we had in the last game. We need to do it again. And you guys are talking about that, the press dying down in that first 30 minutes or so. Erdogan, I believe, was doing a lot of pressing.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he tired out or if they just changed how we were going to press. But then as soon as we do that, we're in trouble because we don't play. I don't know what it is, either discipline, structure, whatever it is. We just can't put the
Wait.
pressure on and then take it off and then be able to survive. It just doesn't work. We kind of like go from one extreme to the next, right? We're either pressing or we're basically laying down, basically giving them what they want. So we got to find that happy medium where we can take our foot off the gas for a little bit, recharge, and then get back into it a little bit later when we need to, because our press is pretty well, as we've seen, right? I mean, you go up 2-0 at Anfield, it means you were doing a good job with your plan. And this is where people will say Arteta didn't have a plan B when things weren't working, right? When the press wasn't working, when they were starting to get a little feel of the game, when the fans were starting to get into it, he needed to have an answer for that. And we didn't have an answer as a squad. So, yeah.
Welcome to the assemble as well. Evening, everyone. He says, Tony, what's your thoughts on it? And just sort of as a back to say, the injury of Saliba and Tomiyasu is maybe stretching our defense a little bit, Tony.
May I just ask, is Saliba any nearer? I thought I heard he was in training, or is there no news?
I felt like we have not seen him in training yet.
Yeah, I think we even if he comes back, I don't think we can put too much confidence that he'll come back the way we want, because they're talking about him pushing off surgery. So if he's pushing off surgery to play, that means we're never going to get the Saliba we had before the injury. Yeah.
Well, that kind of sense.
So I'll ask you a question. Do you risk the future of a Saliba?
If he can't play, he can't play. It should be that easy.
It's pretty bad if you've got to have surgery on your back. It must be pretty bad, whatever it is, to actually have surgery on it. You know what I mean? Not just like healing it. It's more than a muscle thing then, isn't it? If it's surgery. If it's a muscle, you have anti-inflammatories, compresses and resting it and stuff.
Unless it's torn.
Rather than me.
Like that.
And this was in the course of a celebration in the Europa League,
you know what? Next year will be Champions League. So what? We don't play him in the Champions League. None of
gotta play
playing these extra games means absolutely nothing. Our players are supposed to be able to play the Europa League and Premier League. I mean, that's the only way City's going to do it, right? We're looking at City doing it right now, right? They played. They take breaks. They push people to the bench, but as a squad, they need to be able to come out and play every time. Yeah. So we're gonna have to. All this does is show Arteta, and it should hopefully show Arsenal as a whole. Look, this is how far you got to go. You need to be able to compete with when you go to your bench. If you can't, then you're still far away from competing in football.
If you look at where we are with the likes of, not to pick on him, but the assembled mentioned Nketiah is coming back, Holding, even El Neni, which I like El Neni, but you have to realize and understand, where we want to go. Maybe El Neni can be part of it, but he's not going to play many games. There's a couple of other players, even Tomiyasu, if he's not up to snuff, we got to move on. We have a golden generation of players, Martinelli and Saka.
Not midfield.
Not midfield, and we got to upgrade. That's what we got to upgrade in the summer, Tony.
Everything. Every time you bring up another player, we're not even talking about the players we don't have. We're talking about the players we do have and replacing them. What about the players we don't have? We don't have a player behind Saka. We don't truly have a player behind Partey.
There's a player in the squad.
We don't have him right now. Not right now. You're talking about some future we don't know.
I'm talking about Reece Nelson right now.
Yeah, but we don't know. He's injured. Once again, what difference is it between Nelson being injured and Tomiyasu being injured?
Is Nelson injured?
He was
injured. That's why he was out. He was out for most of this season with an injury. Okay. Remember, we were talking about this early in the season. Why don't we sell him? Oh, we can't. He's injured.
We don't need to buy.
He comes back. He plays. He scores 3 goals, 2 assists, and then he's hurt again.
Come on,
this is Ramsey all over again. We've seen this. This is Ramsey. Come out, showcase your skills, and then he's back injured again.
I think every squad's going to face some injuries. Stan, what have you got?
Oh, I just think we've got Trossard. he comes in for everyone, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you can fit him in everywhere. But just thinking of William Saliba, I would imagine that our cynics would say that, you know, if he's caught his back injury due to celebrating, and serve him right, as you know, we are known for over celebrating too much, which is keys notwithstanding.
The celebration police, what do they think about injuries in the midst of celebrating a goal? Tony, what's your kind of opening? You had a couple of words, but no great opening
This is Tony you're talking about,
substance.
right?
It's called Gary
We're trying to
Interrupts.
pull it out of him. We're trying to pull it out of him, Gary. He can do it.
Gary Interrupts Tony is what it's called.
I don't interrupt you.
Yes, you do, sir.
Go ahead, Tony. What have you got for your opening thoughts on the game, the weekend?
This one, the past weekend, Liverpool.
Yeah.
Still feels like 2 points dropped.
Does it feel like we can all say 2 points dropped? And sorry to interrupt, but roll this in.
I say 5 words, and I guess.
All right,
You said
ahead,
5
go
words
ahead.
and then you stopped. You keep
Go
leaving
ahead,
it
Tony.
open.
We're all going to be quiet for a couple of minutes. Go ahead, Tony.
Keep leaving the door ajar, Tony.
It's called being a Southern gentleman.
I saw the replay of Stevie Gerrard leaving the back door open in a game
When he slipped.
and losing the league.
Yeah. When he slipped.
Banana skin.
I don't want that for Arsenal, Gary. Don't bring
No,
that.
I'm talking about Tony. Talking about Tony.
But here we are, starting over again. 2 points lost to me. Didn't like the substitutions, negative substitutions.
Yeah.
Tassard should have been on at halftime probably,
Mm-hmm.
or started, one of the two. Then you got Zaka on the yellow card. He'd be straight to the bench. Instead, we made weird moves, taking defensive players off. But as far as being in the position we are, should have try to get a better center back in January, because it looked like if he's not good enough to come out instead of holding, why did you waste the money on him? Tell me you're to pay $30 million for a player and it's not any better than Rob Holding.
Oh yeah, listen, it's early days in that player's career.
Why? But we are in a run for the title.
Yeah.
Trossard, Jorginho fill the hole of what do we need to get a title. Kirior is a future pick, right? We'll get him now, and then we'll see what he does in the summer. Well, we don't need that right now. We could have got him anytime.
I think Tony, have you completed your speech or got more to say?
That part of it.
Or you got more?
Yeah.
Give us more.
Just don't like this title run, not backing the team more than they did. We seen what happened last January. We really didn't do much to fix it this January. Only 2 players in that can kind of help us. Like Trossard's that player we should have had at the start of the season instead of chasing all these 70, 80 million pound players around. We never needed a 70 million pound winger.
But that was
You
all
got
just a
Saka,
ruse.
you got
Chelsea
Martinelli.
interested in
That's
them,
what
wasn't
it
it? That was
was.
just a ruse. So Chelsea would go over there and we could get on with our business.
BX said poor
Trossard wasn't
finishing.
available in the summer.
Poor
So
finishing.
that's not really that's revisionist history. That one.
Poor finishing and terrible subs cost us max points.
Yeah.
Stan, as Tony alluded to, and Gary a little bit as well. Kivior coming on for only his second league game up at Anfield. Listen, I know I'm only saying Ray Parlour made his debut at Anfield as well, had a good career at Arsenal. So Kivior can go on and have a good career for us. But was he the best choice to come on in a defensive way? I know we didn't have Saliba and we didn't have Tomiyasu, so we're stretched. Rob Holding usually comes on and he's already on the field.
Why are
But
we
Kieran
stretched when
Tierney's
we
there.
got somebody that plays left center back for his country and Tierney that is perfectly healthy.
Mm-hmm.
I just think there's a number of things he could have done other than that move. You could have brought Jorginho on, and you could have moved Thomas Partey into Xhaka's position and taken Xhaka off.
Yep.
And still kept, create sort of some creativity in there with a bit of defensive stability, rather than taking off Martin Odegaard, who is a player that can provide a killer pass on the 89th minute.
Or the 96th minute.
You know,
that is the craziest thing that we did. We only play 1 day a week, Stan. One day a week. We keep talking about. Oh, wait a second. You know what? Now we only play one game a week. We have 7 days, 6 to 7 days to recover, and he can't play 90 minutes in our biggest game at this point in the season.
That substitution move, to me, I could have understood it more if we were winning 3-2 and they were like coming on to us and we needed to hold on, and he decided.
Well, we were winning 2-1
defensively. I thought it was when we were 2-2.
No, Kivior came on in the 78th minute. Now it would be a matter of less than 10 minutes before we could concede.
It was the worst time for his road debut.
Yep.
If I told you you've never played in the Premier League ever, you've not even grown up in English football, but it's your first road game, Anfield, up 2-1. Liverpool is running downhill the entire second half.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting what they want. As you said, Ramsdale is keeping us in this match. And you go to Kiwior and say, go in there and help us close this thing out. Usually you would go to somebody who's played before, seasoned veteran, understands the what's going on. I just think you set them up to fail. Like they set them up to fail in the Europa League, right? With a goalkeeper behind him who wasn't with it at that point in time.
Yeah,
so
when he didn't challenge for the header.
They kind of screwed him in his Europa League debut, and now they screwed him over here in his road debut. And I just you can take I keep saying this, how can he take this risk? This risk, Kiwior coming on, is the risk he won't take. But if you put on, as you said, you could have brought on Jorginho, you could have brought on Trossard early, you could have brought on Kearney early, and all of those people have a reason why we don't do that. And it's like you could have brought the Milswift Rowe, all these players on, even Fabio Vieira, and I would kind of understand it. But you choose this time to say, here you go, here's your participation in our season. This is the game I'm going to give you. It makes no sense. How can you take this risk at this point in the season in that game?
It could have been. I mean, I'm going to say this is a useful.
They're going more attacking as well. They're coming on to us, and then they go up another gear by bringing on Firmino, and our reaction is to go down a gear.
Well, yeah,
we can't defend. We can't absorb. We're not. We have shown over the years we cannot
on the front
hold on. We cannot sustain our defensive integrity. We always break down. We don't. You see, we've only done it once, and I think it's when we went down to 10 men, and we actually played a lot better defensively. But in general, that's not what we do. Right.
The biggest problem we were having was our midfield. We had Zach on a yellow. He should have came off. We only had 9 shots. That's half of what we usually shoot.
Yep.
We weren't penetrating down the middle. I would have made a change there. And if you wanted to make a defensive change,
taken Xhaka off with Jorginho and change the formation with a 4 and then 2 in front to make it slightly more defensive, and still keep Odegaard, and maybe change one of the wingers or something like that. There was a lot of options that he could have done without bringing on Kiwior. Doesn't make any sense at all, does it?
Yeah.
How do you pull your captain in a game like this? Isn't he your captain for?
He's supposed to be a linchpin.
We talked about this before, right? The captain getting pulled is a bad sign. He got pulled.
He left the captain on. Jack is the captain. He left him on.
No, he didn't. No, he's not anymore.
really
You know that. You know he's
De
not anymore.
facto.
No, but
I
you
know who
pulled
was
you pulled
wearing the
your you
captain
pulled one
band
of
at the end of the
people are
game. That would have
saying
been
people are
Xhaka.
saying Erdegaard is competing with Haaland for like top player in the league. You're pulling him off in this game. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
BX said, I don't want Kivior going out like Pablo Mari. He looks very promising. Watch the World Cup. And now we have some memories of
Yeah.
Ray's
Kivior
favorite
already
player.
compiled. You know, whether Turner called for that corner, Kivior leaves it. Sporting Lisbon score from that header. And now we don't have the greatest memories of
How
Kivior.
much did you pay for Kivior? Do they
20 odd, 25.
Okay, so it's a reasonable investment. So you expect to get some reasonable performances
Yeah.
at some point. He
Yeah.
plays international football. You know, we can't hide these people away. But it's got to be the right time, isn't it? The
Time
right
and a place. Yeah, exactly. We're not against seeing Kivior play, you know, and I wouldn't even be against seeing
We
him.
scored what 4 or 5 straight games we scored 3 or 4 goals and we never used them. Then we go to Liverpool 2-1 and now's the time for him to play. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Come on, we
We
scored
all those games
Ooh.
with 4 goals in that, and he was still sat on the bench. Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. That's a good
those
point.
are the games
Yeah,
because
that's
you
the
have a
time.
window. You have a little bit of breathing room if you do give up the goal.
That's the time.
You
And look-
can't. This is, and I'm telling you again, this is our false 9. This is our left back substitute. You know, with Xhaka. That was the moment. And hopefully, we don't have any more for the rest of the season because he didn't need to do that. He took a risk when it was not needed. You're on the road at Liverpool, up 2-0.
Tony.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
Tony
The
puts
last-
his hands up. Yeah.
In the last 3 years alone, we've spent 180 million on center backs.
Hmm.
And one is not even a center back anymore.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
only
Let
130
that
if you want to
sink
go
in.
that
I would
route.
say. Let that sink in. Steven said there are some misfit. If I had been told before the match that we were going to make those subs at those times, I would not have watched the match. They were that bad. So negative in such an important match. I think we're leaving players out there that are calling for there's a change. Gabriel Jesus, you know, we left him on the field too long. He had a great impact and he can be starting games, but we got to give Trossard more than 12 minutes plus at a time, you know. He came on the 70th minute.
Why isn't he starting?
You should have come on
Zinchenko.
for Xhaka. I said that, and people were like, no, because Xhaka does so much. He supports us so much in defense, and I'm like, not on a yellow card, he doesn't. Not in Anfield, he won't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'd rather us win that 5-3 than defend a 2-1 lead. You know what I mean? Because at that point, we were getting opportunities to score, right?
Zinchenko, listen, it was
more.
bad timing on the goal, the equalizing goal. Zinchenko, Tierney's coming on, but it's too late. You can't leave Zinchenko on. He's progressive. I've told you guys at the start of the season in the summer when I asked my brother-in-law, who is Zinchenko? I knew who he was, but what kind of player was he? Defensively, not good, but great going forward. You know what I mean?
For me with Zinchenko, right, his problem is that he doesn't play at left back. He plays from left back.
Yeah.
Do you see where I'm coming from? And although I do like some of the way that, you know,
Why don't you call him an inverted wing back?
That's what they call it, isn't it? But I mean, don't get me wrong. There are times when he does pop up in the midfield, and you can see that it helps us with an overload. But for me personally, if you buy a player for their position, whether it's right back, left back, centre midfield, I want them to know their position first. So if you're a defender, I want you to be able to defend first, be able to win the ball, be able to be defensively aware, being in the right positions as a defender. If you can go forward and make stuff happen and go, for me, that's a bonus. And if you want a player that can do both, then you have to pay a premium, right? But we can't afford to have players that are in defensive positions and can help out going forward, but can't do their job defensively. That will end up costing you points at some point.
Why don't you just make a simple
exactly,
change?
Stan. And there was
starts where Xhaka does, then Tierney's where Zinchenko is. Then you got both the better players on.
Yeah. Listen, there's a point where we say to ourselves, Arteta's trying to hold on to what he has, and there can be nothing wrong with that if you want to play that way.
He needs to be. I've been saying, how many times have I said this? We need to be able to rotate our players. And there is situational players that we can bring in for certain reasons. We just talked about Holding coming in to close out games.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? He's not on the bench. So you got Tierney who can come on.
That's
He
what I'm
can
trying
play-
to say.
He can play center back. If
That's
you
what I'm
needed
trying to say,
right?
Gary. We get
So-
ourselves into a 2-1
But we
lead.
don't ever. We've never seen him play center back for Arsenal
I think
because
he plays
Arteta
centre back
has
in
never
three,
ever
though, right? We
thought
don't
that he
do
would ever use that position, huh?
He plays centre back, I think, as in a 3
Scotland.
or 5, not in a
Yeah.
4.
When we brought
Maybe
Kyrgios
that's
on, I
right.
thought that's what we were
Right.
doing, going back to a back three because
He's a left
that's the only-
center back.
that was the only way we were going to
afraid
help
for
him out. I
Scotland.
thought because at that point in the game, it's like, what are we doing?
So,
What are we
Gary,
doing?
at some point, you have to recognize Zinchenko's not going to defensively give you much. And if you're going to revert to being defensive, which is fine at Anfield, if you want to hold on to a 2-1 lead, we've done that plenty of times this season. But bring defensive players on who can do the job for you. And Zinchenko was caught out one time. Listen, there's plenty of other things there as well. Players that could be picked up in the middle of the box. Firmino's got a clear
don't you
header.
blame all that on the manager?
Well,
Yes. Yeah.
We seem to start Zinchenko and Tierney's the one that's on the bench and he may come in when I think there are certain times where we should be starting with the more defensively sound player, which would be Tierney. And then when you're a couple of goals ahead and maybe you're getting some joy, you can take him off because we know that playing for 90 minutes for Tierney could be detrimental to his health anyway. And then you can bring on the player that is more absent defensively and can help out in the midfield. I mean, why do we never seem to do that? And I think
At the start of the season, we were so happy to have Zinchenko and Tierney that they could share minutes, share games. And now we're seeing
like that, does it?
No, Tierney's not getting very many minutes in relation to Zinchenko. And
you know what? If Trossard needs to get 45 minutes at least in the next game, so either he starts or you're wasting him. Think about this is what, huh?
Where do you play him?
It doesn't matter. He can play. We just said he can play anywhere on the front line.
Okay.
So
he can even play at left wing back.
If you're gonna pull Odegaard and on the road at Anfield, you can play. You can start.
Yeah.
Trossard
Why
anywhere
can he
on
play
the front.
the position he's played most of the season, right? Which is left midfielder. Why can't he play there instead of Granit Xhaka?
For Brighton under a different manager.
Right? Does it matter? But if he can play there and he scored 3 goals against Liverpool playing that position, well, isn't that like a good CV to have going into a City match on the road?
Yep.
We didn't use him there. So obviously the man's not even reading the CVs of his employees.
Steven said Jack approved for the second or third time in the last handful of matches. He's not captain material. He has been losing his cool way too much. So could someone please remind me why he starts? And I've got a hot take for later. Jack is great, in my opinion. The only thing Jack delivers, you're going to get, this is Arsenal. We're going to have differing opinions. It's fine. It's Arsenal fan circle. The only things.
How can you say something supportive of Xhaka? Unless you're talking about his jockstrap.
Listen, he's come this far this season and been mostly good.
But we're talking about the things he does that he hasn't been doing.
Yeah.
And as they said in the previous message, he's been I've actually liked his fire in those games because they come at the right times.
Right.
This time in the Liverpool match when he decided to go out back at an opponent, it was at the wrong time because dude, you know look where you are. Look where you are. What is on the line? What has happened since you went up 2-0? You've lost, I believe, control of the game at that point.
Yeah.
You needed to get it back in.
Was that going to happen at any point in the game without
They would have picked something else, but I didn't want I would rather it have been somebody else. Because he's you know what I mean? I'd rather it be he is not the
He's
as
always
they
the
say,
target.
the poster boy for, you know what's going to wild up the crowd, because you know what, he doesn't back it up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's other players out there that will go out there, they'll leave a tackle in there, and you're like, damn, he just wilded up the other side. But then guess what that player does? They actually come out to play. He doesn't do that. When's the last time he's done something like that? Come out and you went, you know what? Yes, he still played a good game of football. I don't think so. He doesn't do that.
No.
That's not the way he plays. So that's why when we say he's the captain and he's losing his head, that's why Erdegaard for me is the captain, because he doesn't lose his head in that situation. Because there were a couple, he was in there. I think he was actually in there talking to Xhaka, trying to get him to calm down when he went and ran at
Erdegaard went after Jacques, not in a bad way. Xhaka
no, he
and
went after his
Jesus
teammate to stop him before anything silly happened, but it
and
was already too
Jesus.
late.
And Jesus as well. leaving
Jesus
people-
wasn't from what the video that I saw. Jesus wasn't the one that was going to
Watch
get
it.
us in trouble.
Watch
it's-
it back. Watch it back at halftime.
Jacques is the one
Erdegaard
that was
goes to
head to head
Jesus
with
and Granit Xhaka
head to
as
head
well.
with Trent Alexander-Arnold. I don't think Jesus did that.
No, Jesus got himself wound up as well.
Yeah.
Let's be fair about this.
Not like the man Jacques.
He got a yellow card as well.
Yeah.
Tony, I believe you were going to pose me a question.
As I pose you a question, yes, I was, right? You got a new guy, Trossard, used to play in the left midfield. Is he not better than Xhaka?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You got Zinchenko, that's always going forward, so it's easy to move him up into the left number 8. Is he not better than Granit Xhaka?
Yeah. We believe this is the future, Tony.
Now, see, you're
It
talking about some
can be
future.
the
I don't want to
now.
wait for the future. We're trying to win a league right now, and you got players that can
Do
do
you
the
want a
job
nice
I
right
don't want to
now.
wait for it either, Gary. I don't want to wait
you
for
want
it
a nice
either.
big
You just
trophy
brought it
this
up.
year,
You brought
Ray?
the future talk up. I don't want to
Well,
talk
many
about the
people are
future.
saying, do you want to throw the baby out with the bathwater?
You have a
want a big-
player
I
who
want-
scored goals against
I
Liverpool,
want a big,
and you
nice
gave him 10
silver
minutes.
trophy this year.
Yeah.
You gave
I
him
didn't
10
give him
minutes.
10 minutes.
Your uncle did.
I didn't give him 10 minutes.
Your uncle did.
I think maybe at the moment, Mikel Arteta already has a candidate penciled in for Xhaka's role.
Yeah.
It seems to be Teabag, right? He seems to be the one that when he does withdraw Xhaka, he's the one that gets put into that position. He doesn't put Zinchenko in there and bring Tierney on. He doesn't put Trossard in there.
Long term.
It's Teabag.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know whether
Well,
that's still. I don't know whether
it-
he's going to keep sticking with that, but that seems to be what he's been trying, right?
It can be Teabag. It can be Neil Smith
Smith
Rowe.
left 8. He's
I
not tried.
think
I don't think he's even tried Emil Smith Rowe there, has he?
Don't you
No.
think he's a little too slight? He's has tried him before, but not
Okay.
this season.
The only things Xhaka delivers while defending his opponent's goals, yellow cards, free kicks, and penalties against. Yeah. Arsenal are formulating.
Hang on. Do we not think he's had quite a good season thus far, though? To be fair.
Yeah, to be fair. But at these critical points, Dan,
you said yeah in the high voice.
yeah. But he
That's
still
when my missus
comes
says
to.
to me, "Did you take the rubbish out?" And I haven't. I go, "Yeah." And as soon as I put the phone down, I run out and take the rubbish out before she gets in.
We have a couple.
But
We've
the
got
key
a
question is: there better options on
Hold
the
on,
team now? And there is.
We have just drawn a game at Anfield, one of our toughest games in the run-in, and we've got 2 more tough games coming, if not more, away from home: Newcastle and Manchester City. Can we all say on our hands, put our hands on our hearts, that Granit Xhaka will not get yellow cards in these games? No,
But
we can't say that.
Remember when Xhaka got sent off quite a lot in his past with us, it
Mhm.
was never for 2 yellows. He doesn't do
Yeah.
2 yellows. He does straight reds. That's what he does. He goes straight
Yes.
for it. And it was usually because he was further back. And I'm inclined to agree with BX when he says without Xhaka, we'd get punked in the middle. He does give us a little bit of weight in there
I
that we
don't
need.
think so, because most of the time he's the furthest player forward.
And
Unfortunately,
and-
Stan-
Ahead of Jesus.
And although we might have better players that may be able to have a better passing accuracy, whether it's for assists, may be more inclined to pull the trigger quicker than he would in a shooting opportunity. I think that what they lack is a bit of they don't have his robustness, because he still does turn up to help out Partey and help out defensively as well. He's just not chained to that area of the pitch anymore.
Here's one of my biggest fears, that we haven't had a player sent off this season. And if we do have a player sent off this season, it could be detrimental to the run-in, And I've heard him more would say the most likely player to be sent off in our team is Granit Xhaka.
I didn't consider that we've not had a player sent off this season. We haven't, have we?
No. Samuel said Arsenal are formulating a solid team, but it does seem that when the games are high pressured, we appear to crack. Granit Xhaka does do a lot in midfield. He does do a lot of work. I'm worried about his temperament. That's all I'm really worried about. There's no need to get involved in something with a player when the referee has not given a decision.
That's
You
the
get
second
mad.
time in 4 weeks that players had to go pull him away.
We have to
Plus
be able
the
to
manager. So 3 times in the last
I would
month.
like to upgrade on him. I do think there's other players out there that have a profile that could do a job in that position and maybe give us more at the end of the game. The sharper end in assists and goals, whether that's internally or out there to buy. But for now, we've got this far with him playing, I think, quite a vital role in the robustness that he gives us. And I'm a little bit loath now with 8 games to go to start tinkering.
You say that, but then you're okay bringing Trossard in. So obviously we can bring players in if they will fit in. Yeah. And many believe that Trossard. Many believe that Trossard can play Xhaka's position, especially if he plays higher up the pitch. And he's more of a threat. He will probably make the right pass. He might even take the shot.
So the next time we're 3-0 up, for example, or 4-1 up, with maybe 60 minutes gone, then I'm quite happy for them to take Xhaka off and put Trossard on and say, we can find out.
That's not what we're talking about.
I'm worried about starting a game and it all goes wrong, and then we have to fix it within the game.
Here's my hot take.
Okay, so a second. You think if we played with Trossard and Erdegaard right behind our front 3, we would have a problem? That's what
I don't know. I'd like to.
No, but that's what you're saying, right?
No, what I'm saying is that I would like to find out, but I'm not. It's with 8 games to go and we're sitting at the top of the league, and what's got us here that's this far. As I said, the next time we're playing a game and we're winning 3-0 and there's 60 minutes to go, let's do that. We can afford to take a look, and if it looks good, we can say, okay, maybe we can try this again. But I don't want to start tinkering and starting Trossard in the next game and having Jack on the bench and all of that.
Now,
when that's not what's got us here. And if
with
it goes
all
wrong,
that being said,
within the game.
With all that being said, I know Stan would play Trossard as one of the forward 3 players. You would play him on the right wing, you would play him on the left wing where Martinelli plays, or you would play him where Jesus plays.
Yeah.
But
because we have been slowly.
Right?
We've been talking about Trossard for months before he came to Arsenal.
Make your comments you made about him on Sunday.
Which one? Who?
Jesus.
What did I say?
He said he was dropping back deep, which that means Xhaka is usually the furthest player forward. Do you want your supposed striker back behind Granit Xhaka?
I don't know if I said that
in there. That makes no sense.
You're talking about when he ran. You're talking about when Jesus was in our penalty box and he done that slide and kept the ball in, and he was like the last man.
No, there's several times he drops back.
But isn't that good?
He does Lacazette role.
Good that we have a forward that's also defensively minded. I think that's quite good.
Yeah,
but
Steven said there's
from him.
I'm gonna get caught up a little bit here on the chats now. There's an easy way to solve the more defensive gaps that Tierney provides. Take Xhaka off and put on a more offensive Trossard. It's a simple solution. Yeah, we've been talking about that Arteta gambled and was lucky to come away with a point. I'm always left with the impression that we play the team the wrong way around. The players that should be playing are on the bench. There is certain amount of truth there. Without Xhaka, we'd get punked in the middle. BX, we have better left eights than Xhaka in the club. Trossard being number one. I have Xhaka third in depth chart at left eight, maybe even fourth. Yeah. Misfit, Trossard should be in Erdegaard's spot. I don't know about that.
That is not that's not where he plays though. I mean, I get it. I mean,
Erdegaard's like our third top
everybody-
goal scorer.
A lot of fans are behind
BX,
Xhaka and
put
what he
your
does,
butts away
and supposedly nobody else can do
before you watch
Look
the
at
next
the
game.
a close to job. And I'm like, are you sure about that?
Mm.
Are you sure about that? Because I bet you, as you guys just said, Jesus could come back and play probably defense as well as Xhaka could if needed. You know what I mean? I know Saka can. You know, so I know that we've got so it's. I don't think it's that's the problem. Like I said, I think we could I think if we could play better defense with a stronger offense. They're not going to want to play us if we're that strong offensively. They won't be able to play like that.
Granit Xhaka needs to play
right in our engine room. Martin Odegaard is the lubricant. That's what he does. He's the oil that keeps everything else working nicely. So
moving around. Yeah, the gears.
He's up. He's probably one of the first names that has to be on the team sheet.
Yeah.
But in our most important game, he's out with 10 minutes to go.
Wow.
So I'll go. I keep going back to that because it's
was there an injury worry with something that we don't know about? Because I don't understand if he's not got a problem, why you take him off? Yeah, why he's the lubricant. He keeps everything running. And as I mentioned, whether it's the 89th minute or the 6th minute of X, he can still put in a killer pass.
Yeah.
You can still do that. You know what I mean? He may be having a bad half or something like that.
I believe
he can pull something out of the box. He can chip the ball over into the box to the back post and someone can head it in. And he can find that player with one move.
I believe there's a lot to learn from this game. The management, the coaches, right down to all of the players. They can look.
I don't think we had to learn anything. This is stuff we already knew. There is no scenario. There is no scenario where you go, you know what? I'm going to take off Erdegaard and then bring on a center back. Our fourth center back who's hasn't even played 90 minutes in the league.
Maybe that's what they teach them at coaching school.
Total. So there's no scenario for that. If Jesus can't play a full game, then he needed to come off sooner than the 80th minute.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't if he can't play 90 minutes, then why are you playing him up to 80 and then pulling him? I mean, we had our subs came off. I remember this because we were sitting there. Our subs came off the bench in the 70th minute. That's when they came off the bench. And it took so long for them to finally get on that when they were ready, I think they had to sit for another 2 or 3 minutes because of the way the game was going. Well, our subs came off, and I think they were able to make 1 or 2 subs before our first sub came on. Yeah, that's how bad it was for us. And I sound I'm a broken record. Arteta hasn't learned from the big boys. This is the second time he's played one of the top managers in the world, and this is the second time he's watched. This is the second time he's watched them decide to put subs in to affect the game positively for their team. Meanwhile, he's watching his team struggle, suffer, and give up a goal.
Who are the big boys? Who are the big boys that he needs to learn from?
Pep and Klopp.
Okay, so he hasn't beaten Pep yet, right?
But he's watched. Like I said, he's sitting there and
he
looks
has
over
beaten Klopp.
and he's seen them
at the Emirates. They did win, right? 3-2.
I'm just telling you what happened in this match, and many people will tell you in that Liverpool match that we got lucky.
How did we get lucky?
Many people we got lucky. We say we should have
names.
Gabriel maybe should have come off because penalty, handball, all this thing going on. That's what many people will say.
I don't
But
know.
what I'm saying is that
You win in the Premier League, you win.
he's watching managers do what's supposed to be done when the game doesn't look like it's in their control anymore. And that's exactly what happened in the Liverpool match. He didn't make one change to affect the game in his favor for his players.
Why don't you play with a guy that has eight goals and 10 assists? Being Trossard.
You see, there's something that I'd like to see. I'd like to see us maybe, and there are games coming up where it could be done where you start Trossard.
What, Ray?
Tony, hold on a second. I'm going to answer Tony. So, Tony, I start Trossard, and then tonight you're saying, why didn't we start Martinelli, who scored 14 goals? Why didn't we start Saka, who scored, 15 goals? Why didn't we start Gabriel Jesus? The fact is we have four very good forwards. The problem is we didn't bring Trossard in.
The problem
earlier.
is that he can play anywhere, right? He can play left midfield, his most played position this year in the Premier League. Has 8 goals, 10 assists. You want to play him instead of Granit Xhaka?
You're right. I agree with you. Stephen said, Stan, Xhaka has been okay. He has scored goals, but also cost us 3 goals. My point is we already have better players.
What I'd like to say about Trossard, I'd like to see something where, for example, you could start Trossard and have Gabriel on the bench. And if during the game you see that Saka, for example, isn't having as good a game as he could be and looks a little bit off it, you could take off Saka and bring on Gabriel Jesus in that same position. Because a couple of seasons ago, before they got Haaland at Man City, I kept remembering, I kept watching Match of the Day and watching like games, and he was constantly playing on the right-hand side, and he was still causing things to happen. He was assisting and scoring and being very productive from the right-hand side. So there's a lot of variation that we can do, but sometimes I don't see us try. Sometimes you think, oh, Saka looks really tired. Well, Gabriel can play in that position.
Yeah, or, Trossard played on the right wing for Saka when Saka was unwell last week.
Trossard's played 7 times as striker this season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Samuel, I'd have played Trossard instead of Jesus as he was match fit, but not game sharp. He ran out of gas and the problems developed from there. His work rate dropped. Yeah. And this is the issue where quality stays on the field, but quality gets tired. And we have quality on the bench that can come in. And we've got to bring these players in and fresh legs sooner in the game, sooner than 78 minutes. Trossard is a 10. He can play anywhere in attack. A true 2-footed attacker. We wasted Trossard at Anfield. We've given him only that amount of time. And you should have seen more time. And you need to be on the field a few minutes before you get up to the speed of the game. So you bring him on 78 minute. He's really only going to be good for you from the 83rd, 84th minute because he needs to get up to the speed of the game.
I agree with Steven there. I want to know what BX is smoking tonight.
BX, Trossard and Odegaard spot. What the hell he's smoking? Everyone wants to put Trossard on the team, even at the expense of Odegaard. Leave Xhaka on and take Odegaard off. You must be higher than a kite. Xhaka is not half the player Odegaard is. Yeah, listen, I'm a believer of the weakest. The weakest link comes out. If you're not playing well, Granit Xhaka was not playing well. Gabriel Jesus was getting tired. Bring them out. Bring these players out. What game of Arsenal won that are must-win games in the last 3 years? We've been winning. Every game's a must-win game.
No, but this is a big game for us, right?
What about last season?
These types of games are what we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
We're playing the cities, the Liverpools.
Mm-hmm.
How many of our
Right now, we
11
can
did
beat
we win
everybody
last
else in the
year,
league, but we struggle with Liverpool and City. What's that?
Ask Ray how many of our final 11 last year we won.
95 goals for City for good old Jesus.
Yeah.
You know the answer to that, Tony. Erdegaard is our right 8 sitting in between and behind Saka and Jesus. We don't play with a 10. Saka is our slowest, least skilled player in the front 5 of Martinelli, Xhaka, Jesus, Erdegaard, and Saka. Yeah, he's the weakest link, and he's got to be upgraded. And it's got to happen.
We
Well,
can upgrade him now. We can upgrade him now
Yeah, I know.
with 3 players at least.
And this is my hot take. I would not like to see Granit Xhaka start on Sunday. That's my hot take.
How's that a hot take?
I don't even know what. I didn't even think that's a hot take.
That's what
why
I
I
hot
said.
take on this show.
That's why I said maybe it's not a hot take, but
yeah, I know.
we
Know
need
your
goals.
company, Ray.
Okay, let's get back to the start here. Stan, class, resolve, and fortitude. The class that Arsenal showed was respecting the 97 souls who passed away at Hillsborough. And Arteta and Erdegaard bringing flowers to the memorial earlier in the day. Listen, a lot of plaudits there for Arsenal doing things the right way.
We have a long history of doing things like that. You know, we try to always be thoughtful towards other clubs when they've had problems and tragedies and stuff. You know, Arsenal always show respect to other clubs. So it was good to see Mikel Arteta and the captain going there to you know, pay the respects on behalf of Arsenal for what happened at Hillsborough, because it was a terrible thing. You know, people got up that morning to go and watch a football match with their family or kids or whatever. You know, mums thinking that their kids and fathers are going to be coming home for dinner, and they didn't. And that shouldn't happen. When you go, that shouldn't happen. No matter what club it is, no matter where it is, that shouldn't happen.
Should, like you said, Stan, you should be able to go to a game, enjoy the game, Gary, and go home safely. And, you know, the safety measures were not in place there, but Arsenal being a class act, you know, there's lots of Liverpool fans will tell you other teams go to Anfield and sing horrible, horrible songs about people who passed away and families who've lost, you know, members of their family they'll never see again. And Mikel Arteta and Erdegaard showing a great example. And, of course, our away fans, exemplary silence before the game, Gary.
Yep. No, this is what we always talk about Arsenal doing things. And this is kind of, I think this is all Arteta, kind of some of the things that he wanted to do that we thought were crazy and stuff and silly and like, what are you talking about? And he's been doing all of that stuff. So, yeah, there's a time for football and all that stuff, and there's a time to do the right thing and be do the right thing, do the good thing. So we did that. So yeah, that was a good sign, and I think that's Arteta. You know, that's Arteta right there. That's what he does. So
that's a good thing, right, Gary?
Oh yes.
Tony, Arteta was an Everton player, so he knows what the city has gone through, but nevertheless, you know, Arsenal conducting themselves in the right way.
Yeah, it's kind of, for me, that's things that clubs are going to do anyway. They know the history of it. They're going to do that. As I asked Dan, because I know it used to be a part of the FIFA EA games, is you do charitable things. Is that still part of manager mode, or is that gone?
I don't think so.
It's all about buying players, going and getting the best players.
Yeah.
Ain't got time for that stuff.
No charitable events. Anything like that.
Yeah. Arsenal being a true class act as BX will attract the right players. But Tony, a word for our fans, away fans, the fans go to games up and down the country and conduct themselves in the right way.
Yeah.
I know
fans should do.
We should all just say, yeah, but it doesn't happen with other fans. You know what I mean? So you got to have a sense of pride about our fans in a way.
Yeah, but they're always a rotten bunch in every crowd. Unfortunately.
Yeah. Stan, the next part of the cover the class. Okay, so the resolve of Arsenal on Sunday. When things look bad, we hung in there, right?
Yeah, but we've not come off the back of a loss, have we?
No.
It's not like
No.
we're bouncing back from a loss and we have to go back onto a winning streak. You know, we're still sort of like maintaining a streak without losing. So it's important that, you know, the next game is 3 points. We get back to winning ways. And, you know, with regards to your hot take, I would like us to start, Shaka, to have a solid foundation of what we've been doing so far this season. But if we get into a place of comfort, then I'm all for, you know, experimenting and trying something else so that we can have a look. Why not?
Yeah.
If we're in a comfortable position.
Yeah. And then the next two games, with all due respect to West Ham and Southampton, they're games we should be winning quite comfortably, and we're going to have to address goal difference as well. You know, that's going to be. Well, I remember Tony talking about this last season, and I kind of dismissed it a little bit, Tony.
Then it got close. Then you're like,
with regards to that team, but we're in a title race that could go down to the wire, and it could be the finest of margins that separates the two teams here. Gary, so resolve and fortitude, Arsenal showed a lot of that in the second half. Didn't look great at times, but we got out of there mainly thanks to Aaron Ramsdale.
Yeah, I mean, I think resolve is basically all on Ramsdale. I mean, he made some really, really, really good saves. So, yeah, we had a player stand up. He stood up and answered the call when we needed it. Would have been nice for us, for our offensive side, to score a goal, but he definitely kept us in this thing. And we got lucky too, right? We got lucky, you know. You put a PK up when it's is it 2-1 or is it 2-0 at that time? I can't remember when the PK miss happened. But
2-1 in the
so it could have been a totally different game. You know, if it was 2-2 and they had gotten that, because you know, who knows what's going to happen.
I don't know what happens with this game, the way things were going. You
Sure.
know, but
Sure.
maybe we got a little bit of luck on the day. We had some resolve, some fortitude.
That was luck. You're not supposed to miss those at home.
No.
When you've
we'll take it.
Been struggling. So yeah, no, the resolve, like I can only give it to the one player, just Ramsdale. I mean, he definitely deserved it. He showed up when we needed him to, and that we've seen it from other goalkeepers, and we got our own. So I'm happy for that.
Yeah. Tony, Arsenal's resolve and fortitude.
We haven't seen it as much lately as we haven't seen. We haven't seen.
Can you just talk about this game? You know, talk about things you didn't see. What about in this game?
It wasn't there.
Ramsdale was not resolve.
Ramsdale did not stand between Liverpool and a win
throughout the whole season. The team.
He's talking about the Liverpool match, Tony.
No, we didn't see it.
I did send you the agenda, right?
Did you watch the game?
We would have won the damn game.
Did you watch? What did Ramsdale do, Tony? Can you tell me what he did? I'm dumbfounded. Did you not watch the game?
If we showed what we showed all year.
No. Did you watch the game?
Yes, Gary.
What did Ramsdale do in the second half? What would the score have been if we didn't have Ramsdale playing at the peak of his abilities in that second half? What would the score have been? Tony? Tell me
what could the score been in the first half, Gary?
No, I'm talking about the second half. That's the resolve.
Gary, you really need to be a manager.
I'm just asking Tony to answer the question, please.
I answered the question.
What did Ramsdale do in the second half?
We haven't seen what we've been seeing, Gary. Gosh. What did we do all season? The team would equalize. We'd go.
What are you talking about? We're talking about the Liverpool match. Why are you talking about something that happened before this Liverpool match?
We had an immature.
You don't get the agenda, Tony.
Center back there.
Look, it's right there below your. Look at the screen.
Notes.
Don't agree with it.
Listen,
I
I'm not
couldn't
feeding.
have give you. I
I'm
give you
not
a
feeding
nice
Tony
a
the
sitter
answers, but I
right
do give
there
him an
in front of the
agenda.
goal, and you scuffed it, Tony.
I don't have to agree with it.
There's nothing to agree with. What did Ramsdale do in the
What did
second
we
half of that
not
game?
do, Gary? We didn't get a center back we needed. Instead, we put this kid out
What
there.
are you
that ain't good
talking
enough.
about?
We're not talking about center backs.
You're
We're
talking about some
Rand.
transfer
The
business
guy
in the
who
middle
wore
of it.
yellow.
Ainsley
There's
Maitland
no-
Niles.
The guy who wore the gloves.
I don't understand where you're going, Tony.
Tony.
Should he been in that situation? No. The manager made shitty fucking
Is Liverpool
substitutions.
a good team,
Put
Tony?
two players back there that's not
Tony.
good enough.
Tony, how many games has Liverpool lost at home this season?
Is Rob Holding good enough to be a starting center back in the Premier League?
Obviously, he is because he starts for us.
I want Gary and Tony to be coaches of a team, and you're sitting down here on Thursday night trying to decide who's going to play.
Tony's going to tell you why he can't start this guy because you know what? In January we didn't pick up a center back. I don't care about January now, Tony. I care about what's going on in April. We have to play these players.
All right.
You didn't watch the game, Tony.
Gary, you know Tony's not going to.
Yeah, but he's trying to make a case for something that has nothing to do with the
You're not
game.
making the case, Gary.
You get the
The
agenda.
manager should have made the changes at halftime. He never makes changes. He sticks with the same shit all the time. So the fucking players have to bail him out.
Did
There's your
Ramsdale have a
answer.
good game, Tony? Can you tell me that?
It's the player. It ain't
No. Tell me, did Ramsdale have a good game?
Why the fuck does it matter when you don't have the rest of the pieces?
Why are we talking about the football game that already happened if you don't
Why are
even
we
want to
talking about the keeper? Because we don't have good center backs in front of you.
We've got
Gabriel
Gabriel.
is not a good player.
Oh my God!
Trent on his day
All
is
right.
a good player. What are you talking about? You're making it sound like we're playing against Cones and we struggled. This
Tony,
is a
you
team
had
that,
to tap in.
This is
You
a
had to
team
tap
that
in.
has, come on, dude. Just take the L or just answer the question.
No,
Was
Gary.
Ramsdale really good in the second half?
Did he have to be? Because
That's not a question. I
decisions?
asked you, did Ramsdale have a good game in the second half of
Answer
the
it without
Liverpool match?
answer it without saying the question.
Answer it without your opinion.
No, you tell me. I'm asking for your opinion.
I told
Did
you.
Ramsdale have a good game in the second half? It's very easy. Tell me, did
I
he have a
told you.
good game or not?
Because he had to.
So he had a good game? Are you going to say yes to that?
You're a stubborn man.
I
Stubborn
don't get
man,
it.
Tony.
You don't want to answer the question and then tell me
No.
I'm making an opinion for you. I'm not making an opinion. You said absolutely nothing.
We're asking you for your opinion, and you
I said
couldn't
both center
give us-
backs weren't good enough.
You couldn't give us your
Has
opinion
nothing to do with
on the
Ramsdale.
goalkeeper. BX said, "I'm more nervous about these next two because they're the ones we were supposed to win." Why be nervous when we've seen
Because
what
we've seen what
Arsenal?
happened last year, right?
We've seen what Arsenal can do this season to a
If we
West
saw what
Ham.
Arsenal can do last season, we lose the Liverpool. We lose the Liverpool match. We come out and we go down 2-0. If you're talking about history, this history that we don't see this year, the history that you're talking about last year at the end of the season, it's not here this season. It isn't. When have you seen it?
I'm
Did
not
we gain
saying
a
that.
point?
Only-
Where? When did you
Did
see
we,
it?
Did we gain a point? Or did we lose 2 points?
When is the last time we gained a point at Liverpool?
That's not my question, Gary.
You
Just answer the question, Gary.
We're getting derailed here. Tony,
you don't.
Tony,
What
you-
was,
the landing
what was
gear.
the headline of the road or the trip on Monday?
Why does that matter? It's just not my show. It's
What?
Ray's show.
Tony,
Why are you
the
asking
landing
me?
gear is not down. You're not taking the plane down right now. Okay.
This is not Ray. This is not my show.
Yeah.
This is Ray's show.
Grabbing the wheel.
But can I let the audience know
It's a hijacking.
that
Tell
you
us
said
your
2
father.
points lost in part of your title?
He just doesn't want to. It's okay. Let's move on because he's not gonna.
Yeah.
He's not.
No.
He doesn't want to play the
You
game. He
didn't
doesn't want to
answer my
answer
question,
football
Gary.
questions.
We
Talk
know
about something
Tony.
else.
We know Tony. BX, every game is going to be a problem now. I think we're going to get back on track here, starting on Sunday.
The question is, what did we see in this game that leads anybody to believe that we're going to struggle in the next one?
Exactly. Nothing.
We missed some opportunities in the second half. That's it.
Yeah.
Our goalkeeper stood on his head and did a really good job.
Mm-hmm.
Our manager made some questionable subs.
And
But
when
other than that, we actually, as a team, the players can say they played well. They had opportunities to take the lead and get all 3 points.
Okay, this Jesus needs to keep scoring, which he looks likely to, and not pick up any more cards. Yeah, 3 goals in 2 games, and now we asked for 10 from him. He's 2 away.
5.
Huh?
You asked for 5.
Yeah, 5 plus the 5 that he had before.
We said 5. Yeah, at the next 10 games, he's got 3
Yeah,
already.
so he's close.
Yeah,
Not bad.
he's 2 away. Not bad. He's picked up scoring, and that was a great goal. The second one. I mean, I don't want the whole podcast to be about what happened badly, because we did do some good things as well. Does anyone think Saliba would have made a difference in this game? Yeah.
Oh yeah,
definitely. That's how Partey's fitness holds up onto the end of the season. That's important. I wouldn't be against limiting Partey's minutes in these next 2 games.
We're not using Jorginho when we need to.
Yeah, but I think he'll get some minutes in these next 2
No,
games.
but he needed him in the games before, because we need him to play in the big games. So, like, my understanding is Jorginho can come in and close out games, and we barely use him to do that.
He's had quite a few starts now since he came. Tony might be able to even check up on the minutes if we talk nicely to him. But yeah, I think Saliba would have made a difference. A fit Saliba makes a big difference. And there's a reason why.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how we could not say having your starting center back would not help you in a game like this.
Exactly.
I mean,
we don't need to say anything about Ramsdale in this match. His performance says everything that needs to be said. It was a good Gold Glove performance. We would just like to have gotten Tony on record, but he didn't want to do that for us tonight. Assembled.
Neither did Gary.
well, young as well, isn't he? So young for a goalkeeper, right?
Yeah. Now, Stan, do you think he's knocking on the door of taking over from Pickford?
It's got to be. I mean, just look at the positions in the league.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's stats about shutouts and all of that, but I mean, you'd have to say that Ramsdale is the guy in form at the moment.
Yeah, it's just Southgate, right?
well, Southgate. I mean, as many people have said, he needs to see Balogun playing in the Premier League to figure out whether or not he's good enough to play for the England squad.
That's BS.
He's playing against Mbappe, Jonathan David, and
Lacazette
and Messi,
and
and
Lacazette.
has outscored most of them for most of the season.
Don't forget Lacazette.
But yet he needs to play in the Premier League before he shows whether or not he's worthy of a spot on an England squad.
Yeah.
Does he know that the rest of the European teams, that all their players don't play in the Premier League and they win trophies? So I don't understand why the Premier League makes a difference.
He picked Tammy Abrahams when he was playing in Serie A.
Yeah. No, it doesn't make a difference. It's a political answer.
Like Jude Bellingham was playing, and he wasn't playing. Was he playing?
That was a question he clearly
Jude
sidetracked.
Bellingham plays in Germany.
He sidetracked that question. We'll talk about Balogun a little bit later as well.
Did he sidetracked it?
Misfit Ramsdale being our man of the match tells his own story about our overall performance. David Seaman had to earn us some points, Stan, back in the day.
Yeah.
And Lyman.
Also, as well, it was only a few seasons ago where the player of the season, it was kind of like there was like a cigarette paper between Aubameyang and Bert Leno.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
now I would
What
say
should
that's
happen?
Liverpool, right? You've got Allison and you've got Salah, and not a lot in between.
Yeah. It's keeping the shots out.
You ask a lot of Liverpool fans, it's Salah and it's Allison this season. Everyone else has been very, very inconsistent. So there's times when you're going to need all of your players to perform for you. You're going to need a Ben White. You're going to need Gabriel, Mega Legs. You're going to need a Saliba. And they all have to do things for you. I forgot Jorginho played for us. LOL, says BX Gunner. I don't know if Tony's checked on his minutes. Ramsdale has about as much chance with Southgate as we do.
387 minutes.
387 minutes.
Yeah. No, Ramsdale should already be the starter for England. I don't know.
How old is Jordan Pickford?
26, I believe. Something like
And how
that.
old's Ramsdale?
23, 24.
Yeah.
People can fact check me on this one. I'm not quite sure, but I think there's a few years difference in it.
Just think about it. England has Jude Bellingham, Saka, Sancho, Foden, Rashford,
Sancho.
all these young
Harry Kane.
players who would attack in prowess, and he can't get them to play. He can't get them to play. If I told you you can start a Premier League team and those were some of the youngsters on it, would you be happy?
Yeah.
Not Southgate, because you know what? Some of them didn't play in the Premier League, so they're not that good for some reason.
All right.
So for the math for you, Ray, that's 38.5 minutes a game. And 3 of those, actually 270 of those minutes, over half of them came when Partey wasn't starting. So you probably would be playing about 15 minutes a game.
Yeah, so I would like to just have a little bit more insurance for Partey and Jorginho have a few more minutes. That's what I would like.
That's not very many minutes.
No. Okay, let's just dip into Balogun real quickly. I'll go to Tony and go counterclockwise. What do you want to do with Balogun? What do you think we're going to do with Balogun? He's come out with a comment saying wants to be a first choice at a club.
And Arsenal, Arteta won't give him that. So
is any team going to give him he's going to be their first striker?
It'd be plenty of French teams.
Anywhere in Europe.
Then probably smaller Premier League teams.
Maybe the club where he's at. On loan.
Ream, yeah.
There's German clubs interested in him. So yeah, there's minutes for him out there.
Okay. Stan, what was this say about the mentality of the player? Is he?
Are you going counterclockwise?
Huh?
Nothing.
He's going diagonal.
Okay, I just was making sure.
You said you're gonna go counterclockwise.
You look like you were glancing through your phone.
No, I'm waiting for you. I'm waiting for my turn. That's all.
All right.
Looks like you're gonna have to wait a little bit longer then, doesn't it?
Go ahead, Stan. You go ahead. We're going counterclockwise.
For me with Balogun, I think that for the time that we've invested in this kid, it hasn't cost us anything, but we've invested a lot of time. He's starting to show some fruits. So I think that it should only be fair and the right thing to do is to have a look and see how he performs in an Arsenal shirt. He gets brought back into the group for pre-season so he can see how he integrates with the rest of the team in training, how his personality blends, and you play him. You know, Eddie was given an opportunity. So I think that the same should happen to Balogun, because if you sell him for 40 million, then what have you got to do? You've got to get that 40 million and find someone else to buy. Someone else that is a little bit of an unknown quantity, no matter how much you've scouted them. But you can't never know them as any better as you can with Balogun. Plus, he's one of our own. So I think he should be given an opportunity. It's good that he says he wants to be a first-team player. So he has to work at that, right? If he's given the opportunity to play and he's good enough, he'll go up the pecking order. Why can't he pick your fights, right? Why can't he pick his first fight with Eddie and put himself in for Eddie's contention, and then look at what's next in front of that?
Does it sound like he's willing to compete? From the
I've
article, it sounds
not
like.
heard the interview, but I mean, things can be taken out of context, right? If he's saying, "I want to be a first team player," well, why wouldn't he? I'd like to be a first team player.
Yeah.
I'd also like to drive Formula One for Red Bull, but we can all want things, right? So it's good that he has that ambition. I'd rather he said, "I want to go back to Arsenal and be the number one player," rather than go, "Well, I'd like to go back to Arsenal, hang about in the under 23s for a bit, come off the bench, test my feet." No, Eddie Nketiah said something similar, didn't he? He said, "I want to start games. I want to start games." So I like the ambition. Why shouldn't he have that ambition? He came up through the academy. He wants to be the number one player one day in that position for Arsenal, and he's probably feeling quite confident on the back of the season that he's having, that he can go back to Arsenal and give himself a good shout. Why not? But let's give him the opportunity before we make a decision, I think.
Yeah, this might be much ado about nothing. And do you want to drive a Red Bull so you can drive slow and Lewis Hamilton can win the championship? Is that what you want to drive?
Yeah.
I want
to bump Max off the track.
Verstappen's seat.
And then wave Lewis through. Come on. Go through.
Gary, what do you think about Balogun? Is it much ado about nothing, this interview?
I think Tony had sent me a message earlier this week, and I was telling
Did you
him,
read it?
I sometimes read. You know what? Yes, I do read what Tony sends me. Sometimes if he's given an ultimatum, then it's done. But like as Stan said, it was just a player who's saying that he wants minutes. Then that's what you want, and isn't that what Arsenal wants, anyways? Were they going to spend 80 million on Mudryk and 80 million on Caicedo so that they can go, I'm happy to come off the bench? I don't think so. That's a lot of money for a player who doesn't have ambition to be a starter for Arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
And if Balogun was not from England, New York, but was from somewhere in South America or Spain, we would be looking at him.
Yeah.
So I don't understand. So it's
we know about
what
him.
more do you? We saw Saliba go on loan and do exactly what they want. What made it so easy for him to come back, and he fought for his spot and he got it. All right. Once again, this is the second time Balogun goes off. He needs minutes. He needs to play. He gets his minutes. He's playing. If he goes to any big squad, he is not playing as a starter right now. So Arsenal is the best place for him because they know him. Like if he goes anywhere else, he's taking a step down, either by the quality of the team that he goes to, or the fact that I don't know you, right? Well, he's not going to a big club, right?
And,
what big club's going to take him and give him starting position? Arsenal is probably the best place for him to be.
Yeah.
We've shown the skills, and he gives us. I think he actually gives us, when we talk about a striker giving us something different, he gives us something different.
Yeah.
And for me, it's better than what Nketiah gives us, because I don't think Nketiah gives us what Balogun does.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So for me, I haven't seen Nketiah volley a ball on a dead sprint and score. He's been on the squad for many years now, but I've seen Balogun do it. Right, so I don't know. It should there should be no question as to what Arsenal's thought process should be in this thing, and the fact that Balogun's talking, I don't know if that means Arsenal's already made their decision.
They put a price tag on him.
Because if you sell him for 40, you're gonna have to spend 60
million pounds.
You're gonna have to spend 60 to replace him.
Exactly.
Why? So why would you do that? It makes no sense. Because you're gonna want something. You're not gonna spend that on a young player because you just had one and you didn't want it.
Exactly.
So now you're gonna have to go out there and get somebody who's better than Balogun is, because he's more senior and he will command a starting position. And you don't need that. We don't need that. but we do need somebody who's going to fight for that position, and he will get the minutes. And if he's good enough, like many of us think, even I think,
Mhm.
Nketiah sits. I don't care how much money he makes.
Yeah, I
If
agree with you.
Balogun comes
You
in and
spend all
does,
that money on someone else, and they turn out to be Nicola Pepe Mark II.
yeah,
Balogun is
you spend nothing and you get Balogun and he doesn't show up for you, and you go, damn, we're out nothing.
Yeah.
Because we're
Exactly.
paying it anyways, right?
Exactly.
So it's I don't know. You're playing with house money. If it
Yeah.
works out, you take it, right? You take the risk because it's not even a risk. This is your player. Nothing about this should be that difficult. He should be in the squad. He should be wanting to play for Arsenal. There's nothing out there better for him than Arsenal right
What
now.
he's always wanted.
No, there's
Yeah.
nothing else out there better than Arsenal will pay him. They're showing that they will. So it's not the money. Arsenal wins trophies. Guess what? That's what you want, and you will get the money if you're good enough.
Yeah, and you'll get a
Saka,
chance.
Saka is showing you that you get paid. Martinelli is showing you that you get paid. Margulies is showing you that you're going to get paid. And Saliba, whenever that time comes, he will get paid as well.
Yeah.
But
So
Gareth
it can't be
Balogun-
like, and if Balogun, he's the warning of Hutchinson leaving for the money, doesn't
Where
get
is he
you. The
now?
grass is never greener. We don't even know
Yeah.
where that player is now. So
No.
there's nothing. The only thing I would say for Balogun is I don't think England wants you. So if you want to go to USA right now, they will showcase you as soon as possible because they need a striker.
I believe that's where he's going to go, Gary.
And I think I hear people saying, you know what, he should wait and see what Southgate's already said he
No.
needs to play in the Premier League. So
You got Harry Kane in front of him. You got Ivan Toney maybe in front of him as well.
yeah,
You know,
and
Callum
so
Wilson.
he's
why?
probably thinking I need minutes so I can compete with those guys. And it's like I don't necessarily think that's true, but if you're playing for Arsenal and you're going to get the minutes because once again, if you have a Trossard, you're going to rotate. If you have a Balogun, you should be rotating your strikers throughout the season easily. Not
Yeah.
European games. I mean, like rotating. Like, all right, it's your turn to rest. We're playing on a Premier League game on a weekend. You play, right?
Yeah,
It's Europa League game. You're resting. Oh, okay, you're coming in because
Yeah.
we need to have a strong team that we can rotate our players. And I don't know.
BX said,
Just me.
I think we're going to talk about the process in a minute. The Assemble's asking. Problem is Balogun has 2 years left. And then the Assemble asks, if this is true about Balogun, what is this process really about? It's about bringing players through that you may use in the first team if they're good enough. He's got to be given a chance. If they don't work out, Tony, they've had a loan and they're going to be sold for a very good price.
Yeah, but we've still wasted a year of a kid's career. 5 games left of a season.
The agent does that.
The player wanted it. The team wants
Why
it.
are we rehashing old ground? Why are we going over
Because they
old stuff?
still wasted
Have you met
the kid's
Tony?
career. They wasted
I know where he's
precious
going
year of
before he goes there.
Development. He
The
wasn't even
agent-
playing under 23.
His agent was involved in that, Tony.
So was the fucking club. It's pretty easy to get a deal done if
Right.
the player
Right.
and the player and the club
And
want it. It's not
Do
hard
you
to
know
get
how many
that.
players are in free agency or going to be in free agency? It's a lot of players. It's not just a few out there.
What's he
You know?
signed for? 70,000?
I don't know. You tell me.
You were just going to say it a second ago.
Balogun is going to show up full of confidence. Listen, as Stan said, give him a chance. I think we need to identify midfielders. That's going to be the main focus, I think, in the summer. It's got to be a couple of other positions, but midfield. And Nketiah getting 100,000 to be a backup is what the stumbling block. Yeah. These are agents. It's a very real situation. The club did it. It maybe was convenient, as we've said before. And these are agents and what they do.
It'd be really stupid to let Balogun go because Nketiah.
Is in the way. Yeah, I don't.
That doesn't make any sense.
No, let them come in, let them compete. And I think where Balogun is, Gary, we can see his trajectory is going to surpass
And
what Eddie's doing.
wasn't what's his name? Wasn't our left back? Wasn't he making 100K a week or over 70K a week? Is
Kolasinac.
that at Fulham?
Cedric, yeah.
Yeah, he was
Mhm.
making a large amount of money. So this whole like Nketiah, like if you have a
Some
Balogun,
deals are good, some deals are bad.
no, I know, but if you have a Balogun and he's on your books, there is
Mhm.
nothing for me that like, well, I can't do it because I have Nketiah. It makes no sense. It just doesn't. I don't get the logic behind that one. You
Well,
don't have
we're not there yet.
you don't
We're
have
not-
a striker like him,
Yep.
so
But
that shouldn't
right,
even
Yeah.
be a thought process.
And
right, it's been
the good thing with Arteta is he told Balogun, go do your thing. And I'm not going to check up on you. I'll hear about you if you're going to do well. And he's hearing about
That
him.
doesn't make any sense either. What you just said.
That's what Arteta told him.
I know I don't like that at all.
What, do you want somebody looking over his shoulder?
No,
Huh?
you're checking in with your player.
Well, they check in with him, but he's not going to be checking. Like, Arteta is like, you need to go and play. Go play.
Yep.
Why should Arteta be checking up
Yeah,
on
but-
Balogun every week? It's a
I
distraction.
mean,
no?
not calling him up and stuff, but like checking out what he's doing. That's what
Well,
I
I'm
mean.
sure he is.
He wasn't
He
playing
might have
2
been a
years ago,
figure of
Ray.
speech.
He was sitting around in London doing nothing.
What's that, Tony?
Said 2 years ago he's sitting around in London doing nothing.
Yeah, I mean, the agent has a part to play in this, Tony.
3 years ago he's setting the under 23s on fire with scoring 1 or 2 goals every game.
Yeah.
Got 5 or 6 hat tricks. And Arsenal
Um,
can't stand a deal with it.
The assemble.
That the player
There's,
wanted.
there's something in this. Arteta maybe favors Nketiah, but I don't think he can continually
We already know he has his pets.
give him chances.
Just
Um,
silly.
Every manager has players that they're going to hang their hat on, and you debate whether it's silly or not. We don't know. Jurgen Klopp
It is silly.
Jurgen Klopp sticks with Trent, and Trent defensively is not good, but he's going to take what he gives him with assists going forward. We need Champions League.
Trent was considered one of the better players. Like you're not comparing Nketiah and Trent with their top powers, right?
So I didn't say that.
No, that's what I'm saying. So that's why it's not really a good comparison because you're
No.
comparing them because of what he can't defend, but
I'm not comparing players.
He's not. You just did.
I didn't compare players.
You just
No.
said. Why'd you bring
Listen,
up Trent? You just
Gary,
brought up
Gary, if I can speak, I'll tell you what I said. Can I speak? No. I said every manager has players that they want to hang their hat on. That's what I said. I didn't compare Trent to. I give you an example. I didn't give you a comparison. Okay. So, Gary, let's round up this Liverpool game with some good things, right? We talked about a lot of things that Arteta did wrong, okay? But the players out on the field for I think it was about 40 minutes. And whether it was Xhaka who started or the crowd was going to latch on to anything, the referee certainly let a couple of things go with Gabriel Jesus's the challenge of Konate and Fabinho. And before that, a high foot on Martinelli from Konate. Konate was their best player. I think he sparked them back into it. But up on that until that point, and we lost our way surely in the second half. There was a lot of good stuff going forward.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Symbol's last comment.
That was to Gary.
I'm just reading the Symbol's last comment.
Okay. If Mustafi had signed the contract that he was offered, Saliba wouldn't be here now. That's not true. You're telling me Arteta would have kept Mustafi around?
He
For
would have
4
signed him
years?
to a big contract. You think he kept he You're making it
You
sound like
see
he's going to just let players
Mari
go just because he has a
and
better
Sander both
player,
got 4-year
and we're
deals,
we're
right?
and we're fair. And the fear right now is that Balogun, he won't play him because he's got Nketiah. That's
That
where,
is a legitimate fear, but
yeah.
I think Balogun's gonna come and show his quality as well. You know.
Yeah, like I
Um,
said, we don't know how
Manager
much of
also
this
has to
is
show faith in the player, right?
we don't know how much of this is just um, words lost in translation kind of thing,
mhm.
as far as that goes. But no, as far as you said something, the good things of the game.
Yeah,
I mean, like I said,
did a lot of good
I
things.
watched the game, and like I said, for 28 minutes, we're definitely on the front foot. We definitely were pressing. And after we scored, the game changed. And as you said, Konate started to impose his will. No calls were being made against him, which was interesting because that kind of happened. That started to look more apparent after the 28th minute when we scored.
Yeah.
So the game was getting called totally different at that point. But also we took our foot off the gas in terms of our press wasn't there either.
Yeah.
So there's multiple combinations of things that happen all there. But I don't know. The 28 minutes was perfect. Dribs and drabs throughout the next 60 minutes, we showed what we still have it, and that's why we had those opportunities to score. Right? We
Yeah.
had like 3 or 4 opportunities to score. I think Saka had one.
Yeah.
We had that point where Jesus made the little heel pass back to Martinelli, and Martinelli had a choice to make. Does he give it off, lay it off to Trossard, or
yeah.
does he pass it up to Saka? He went with Saka, put it a little bit too far away from him. Goalkeeper was able to come out and stop it. Where if he gives it to Trossard maybe is able to get up there, maybe put a cross in, and Saka be able to slot it home. So we had multiple opportunities to score, but I don't think we were dominating like we were in the first 28 minutes. So the game definitely changed. It was more the team in red imposing their will in that second half more than we were. I don't think there's anything in it outside of Ramsdale. I don't think there was anything really as positive as the first 28 minutes that I could go. That's where we looked pretty good there. They had opportunities to score as well, so it was going back and forth. It could have been anybody's game. But in general,
shooting 9 shots consistent with our season?
the 28 minutes is where we dominated the game. And then we didn't take that many shots in that 60-minute period because our passes in the attacks left a lot to be desired, and we never even got an opportunity to take the shot. So our opportunities were lost before we even took a shot.
Changes in the midfield.
We're talking about all the good things, Tony. You can talk about all the negative things. We already did that already.
Yeah, we did that. And listen, if you end the game with a draw of 2-2, you had to have done some good things. Liverpool have not conceded a goal at home in 4 months, since in this calendar year.
It's a simple question. Is 9 shot attempts something we've seen consistent with our team? No.
I think we've had more. Is that what you're getting at?
It's usually the 20 to 30 mark.
Yeah, but you have to take into account the quality of the opposition at their home ground as well. They get to play with the ball. They get to impose themselves at times, and we have to counteract that. And listen, we're going to have to do this at the Ethihad as well. We're going to have to do it with more responsibility on the ball, more personality on the ball. We're going to have to do this at Newcastle, which I think we can do that at Newcastle. Newcastle is not going to be as daunting as the Ethihad. But yeah, good things going forward. I thought the goals were similar in some ways. The goals were similar in some ways. The equalizing goal for Liverpool, that was kind of similar to Gabriel Jesus's goal, a cross coming in from that side of the pitch. and a headed goal. Marking not really good in the fullback position, and I actually thought that their first goal that they equalized, the first goal they got back was similar to our first goal as well. Martinelli continues to be vital to the team, with a goal and an assist in this game. And he did the same thing in the home game as well. So Liverpool do not like to see Gabriel Martinelli play against them,
Yeah, because somebody keeps trying to whisper in his ear.
Jurgen Klopp. I don't think Martinelli loves Arsenal. So, he said many times, give me a
Doesn't
contract.
keep trying to court him.
Give me the contract and I will sign it, he says. Steven said, despite going into the shell again, my positive for the match, they did well to get out for the draw. They had to fight Liverpool, the crowd, the officials especially, and their own manager to get it. Gary, this is a game we lost last year 4-0, and we can count ourselves unlucky that we did not get this win on Sunday.
Yeah, no,
So the small semblance of progress, right?
Yes, this is our, yes, we can do it on the road,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
We haven't really shown something like that on the road in a big game with a team who's pretty solid at home in a while, right? So, I mean, we've played teams that give us a tough time, but not one of the big six teams who has been really dominant there. I mean, the fact that in 2 games they've scored 16 goals and given up none is how strong the home field advantage is for them.
Yeah.
I mean, the most goals we scored all year was 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
And look where they are in the table, and look where we are in the table, and they've scored 7 and 9 at home.
Yeah.
Against teams that we have played. We played both the teams that they played, and we haven't scored that many goals.
No, 3 was the most we got against Bournemouth, and 3 against United.
So,
occasions.
yeah. So if you, so,
Mm-hmm.
and
with
the mystique of Anfield was something we had to overcome, and we didn't do a good job of that because we let them back in.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, Bukayo Saka's on record as saying, he's very disappointed we didn't get the win. Great chance to do it this time.
Yeah.
Assemble said, Tony, any player has a personality is a problem to this man. You laugh at my last comment, but why are Elneny, Xhaka, Jorginho, Holding, and Nketiah part of this squad? I'll tell you, the squad has to continually evolve, and some of these players assembled have to move on in the next few years, and we have to bring better players in the place of Elneny, Granit Xhaka, Holding, and Nketiah especially. Tony?
About this comment?
Yeah. There's areas in the squad we can improve upon, right, Tony?
They should have been improved upon a long time ago, but first Arteta pitches we have too many players, then not enough. Then the second season, not enough. I guess he forgets he signs players.
Can always do more. We can always do more. Gary, I asked a question on Sunday before the game, maybe last Thursday. Could Arteta be foot perfect in terms of his own behavior? And he didn't get into a confrontation with Klopp. But Granit Xhaka maybe was the player who stepped out of line,
Yeah, and as Tony has said, and as we've seen on the games, Jacques has been getting bolder and bolder. Even though I enjoyed it, he's been getting bolder and bolder. But it is a concern because this time it cost us. It cost us the flow of the game.
Maybe points, right? It's hard to quantify.
It might be, you could say points, but it definitely caused us the change in the flow of the game was definitely changed when that happened. Whether or not you want to say we still had to stop them from scoring, but you don't want that from your captain. You don't want that from your, or one of your leaders. We kept talking about like having leaders all over the pitch. At that point in the game, you're up 2-0, right? We're up 2-0, I think, or
2-1.
2-0. 2-1.
You're up 2-0. You're right. 2-0.
They were up 2-0 at that point.
Yeah.
And we gave up the goal to finish off the half. So well, yeah. So here's my thing. Does he even know that he did anything wrong?
Yeah, he has to. Yes.
Did he say I'm
Are you
sorry to his teammates?
No.
So
He
he's
may
not
be
good-
more
so
like
he's-
Tony.
So he's
He
not
may
a
be
leader
more-
then.
He
He's
may
not
be
a
more
leader.
like Tony than we know.
He's not a leader then.
Ray,
Yes.
do you remember our manager running faster than Theo Walcott to keep
Yeah, at
Saka
White
from
Hart
getting
Lane.
the red?
Yeah, at White Hart Lane. So
Does
we
that
do
mean a
know.
player learns?
We do know these. We do know these demons are within Granit Xhaka.
And this is with him playing up front, not in the midfield,
Mm,
not dropping back much.
When we talk about players needing to come out of games, that's the reason why he doesn't need to start. One, like he doesn't need. I think we talked about maybe you start him and you bring in somebody else, so you don't change the flow. But sometimes
Well-
you need to just rotate them anyways.
Here's what I would like to do, Gary. On Sunday, have Granit Xhaka start on the bench. Do you think that's going to happen?
No, I don't think it's going to happen. I think he needs to get comfortable doing that. Sometimes the players don't need. Sometimes they need to set
Mm-hmm.
mentally, physically, just because they're getting too comfortable and they're not executing the way you want. So their form's dipping.
Yep.
So they might be healthy and all those types of things, but then their form is dripping because it's again monotonous for them, and they need that extra fire to get them going, and maybe that happens when they're sitting on the bench watching what's going on. We saw that with Martinelli, nobody thought he needed to sit, but Trossard comes in, Martinelli comes on, and bang bang, now you got a little recharge of your player. So
yeah, Martinelli has been on fire in the last 5 or 6, 7 games. I think he scored about 7 goals in the last 6 games.
So
what changes would you make from the starting lineup, Gary, for Wednesday? For West Ham, not Wednesday.
kind of feel like Trossard needs to start.
Yeah. Would you bring him in instead of Bukayo Saka? It'd be harsh to take Jesus out or Martinelli out.
Well, I think Jesus needs to get back into form, so that's one reason why I wouldn't want to pull him.
Yeah.
He needs to be able to. We need to be able to feel like we can get 90 minutes out of him, and I don't think we're there yet. So if we can't get the 90 minutes, then he needs to get more gaming time so he can get hopefully back into that kind of form. So I think Jesus plays, and then Trossard starts, and then you just choose. Like based on the minutes, Saka should sit again, right? I think.
Yeah.
So.
Do you think Bukayo Saka didn't have the best game on Sunday against Liverpool?
We scored 2 goals in 30 minutes. I don't know. I didn't feel like anybody was that negative at that point.
Yeah.
So I think like I said, I think he had an opportunity to score. He was making some nice runs late in the game, so he was there. We just weren't clinical in our passing.
We weren't connecting.
Our passes were a little poor.
Yeah.
So he might have had opportunities. He just didn't get he never got a chance. So yeah, no, our front three, no matter who we put out there, they're gonna not necessarily disappear in games, but just not be a point of emphasis, and this was the game for Martinelli, anyways, right? So he was going to have a good day, and he did. So yeah, I kind of feel like
I think
I don't think there's anything wrong with Saka and not the way he played.
I think Martinelli's the one part of Martinelli's game that needs to improve is his passing. His assists are pretty much low compared to the rest of the team. He's scoring goals, but other players are like giving him the ball so he can score. If we're going to go up another level, we've got Gabriel Jesus scoring again. Martinelli has got to find players with assists as well. Steven said, for me, Xhaka has shown a complete lack of understanding on what is happening in a match. He is oblivious to the situation and gets selfish. Not leadership material and becoming a problem again. I think in the big moments, he doesn't keep his head in these big moments, in big games. It's no coincidence we're talking about Liverpool again with Granit Xhaka. Last season, it was Manchester City away from home when we lost 5-0 last season. These are the old demons of Granit Xhaka, and they're coming in the bigger games because he's a decent player that can get by in all of the other games. Yellow card here maybe or not. Tony, what do you think about Martinelli and Xhaka?
Martinelli's been good lately, better now with Jesus back. Xhaka, still don't like him out there. I think we have 4 options on the team that are better in that position. And I was just thinking, how stupid is it to not make a substitution of one of your 4 players that have yellow cards when you have 5 substitutions?
Yeah.
We only made 3 subs in that game.
Yeah.
What's the point? You've got Nelson, you had ESR, and Fabio Vieira, Tierney, all these players that could have gotten more than the 10 minutes or so that they got, ones that came on.
Yeah, Vieira and Emil Smith-Rowe left on the bench,
And like I said, 4 players with yellows.
You see, this is where I'm saying at some point, fresh legs are better than trusted players getting tired. There's a point where you need to make that change. And it can't be with 5 or 6 minutes to go in the game.
But what's strange, right, is he will do it in the cup games, but we have not seen him do it in the Premier League. Usually first substitutions about 75 to 78 minutes in. Usually then there's about early 80 minutes, then there's the 88 or 90-minute pointless substitution.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, he's letting the opposing coach do that, and I'm like, what do you do? I don't know what is he looking at when that happens. Like, I believe that he's got Albert next to him. Like, is Albert watching this going, you should make a sub now? You probably should make a sub.
But you got your whole physio team that keeps all these things on the players. This player needs rest. I mean, it shouldn't be that hard.
There was a TikTok video that I saw Albert saying to Arteta, 5-2-3. Let's go 5-2-3. I don't know if there's anything into that. Steven's right here to call me out. It's okay. I don't know everything about the game, and I can be called out.
Yeah, but that's one of our goals, wasn't it? Or was that? There was a goal, but that might have been the shot that Jesus missed.
Martinelli's cross. So I just said Martinelli needs to find players and get assists, and I'm being rightly called out here.
Yeah.
You're saying Martinelli's cross to Jesus was not a great pass. He gets a bad rap because of the times he gets isolated and has no one to pass to. So, I'm just being called out. That's fair.
Yeah.
I say he doesn't give enough assists. Well, he did have an assist in this game.
And he could have had another one of Jesus.
That's the one,
Did a better job.
And the one where he needs to find Saka or Trossard.
Yep.
Right
So,
in the
It's
last
not
game.
either or
what?
there.
In
It's
the past, he
Trossard.
played with.
You go through Trossard, he was wide open.
And Trossard is the kind of player, Tony, that can diagnose what to do in that situation. Because
But it was the
Martinelli,
easiest pass. He's on the left side. Trossard's on the left side, like 10 feet, 20 feet in front of him.
Yeah.
And Saka is coming from the other
Going
side
through
of
the
the
middle.
pitch, coming through the middle. And if he passes it directly to Saka, Trossard taps it in.
Yeah. And the thing is, you give the ball to Trossard and Martinelli can follow as well. And maybe he can play Martinelli back in or Saka, But
either way, it was a 3-on-1.
these were situations in transition where we usually make the right pass. Tony, he does in the cup games because we were underperforming and we need to score. Also, I believe, the league, you get into a position in the league, I've been saying since January, February, your season dictates what your target's going to be. And we're in this position in the league.
We put ourselves in this position. We're not in this. It's not. We didn't plan to win everything, and we failed at
Your season evolves, though.
But you didn't set yourself up to succeed in the cup matches or in the Europa League.
No.
So if you don't even try and you fail, then it's not it dictated. The season just dictated where we went. No, we didn't actually try to win those games with the way that we set up the squad and the way that the players came on and played.
You get to a point in the season, whether it's February or January, that you prioritize your competitions.
No, but you're missing what I'm saying. It wasn't prioritization. It was we didn't even try to win any of those matches.
No,
the way we set up, totally different than. Guess what? The season went a particular way, and this is where we are today.
We tried
starters in those games.
We tried to beat City. We tried to beat City with a mixed team, But I get what you're saying. We didn't put a full 11 out there, Gary.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying
we did put a full 11,
what players you have. You set up an 11, and you don't put them in a position to succeed. Totally different than, we're playing these poor players, so then we lose. No, that's not what I'm saying.
What position did he not put them in? And let's take the FA Cup, the Man City away game in the FA Cup.
Yeah.
What position did he put his players in?
I think the mindset wasn't right. There's no. I mean, we do you remember us attempting shots or anything like that? It looked like we were.
Yeah.
But mentally, I just don't feel we were up for these games, and that's why we look the way we do when we play in them. You see it. We don't even play up for these games.
We did play well in that game. We got beaten 1-0 by a Nathan Ake goal.
No sense of urgency in those games for me. That's what I feel like I'm seeing.
Okay.
Like the Bournemouth game, I don't see that sense of urgency in any of our cup games and our Europa League games. No, I don't see anything like that. Like, you're telling me we can play up for Bournemouth, but we can't play up for Sporting? That's what I mean. Like the way the team comes out and the body language and all of that doesn't look like a team that's planning to win.
If you compare the team that we put out against Bournemouth with the team that we played Sporting with, there's clear differences there. And we've been talking about this all season with our squad depth not being strong enough,
We started with Gabriel, Saliba, Zinchenko, Kamiyasu, Vieira, Zaka, Jorginho, Martinelli, Jesus, and Nelson. So only one player there, and that was, I can't remember why Saka wasn't there to start. But
which game was that you're talking about?
Bournemouth.
No, it's a Sporting game.
Like I said, we don't come in with the right mindset. I don't care who plays. I just don't think as a team we come in prepared to win a game. It's almost like, hey guys, we're just going to take it easy here. It's not really important to our season, and we play that way. like I said, we don't come out with the same urgency that we do in other games. Like
Yeah,
if
Alonso.
you're fighting for a position on the pitch, you need to be going out there playing really, hard, and we're
Yeah.
not doing that.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's the call that Assemble's asking for with all of these players. While we haven't moved them on, you know what I mean. These players may not be good enough to be in our team. You know. Hey, Alonso, welcome.
Hello.
All right. Hey, we're going to go into West Ham real quick, and then we'll get out of here tonight. So, Alonso, we'll start with you. West Ham on Sunday. What are you thinking?
I think it's going to be a blowout one. I think they're going to take out the frustration that should have been a Liverpool win, I guess. And yeah, I think it's a derby game, and I don't care what Matt says. It's not a baby derby game. It's a derby game, and it's a big derby game because both teams are up for something, right? And we have that. Arsenal had a lot to prove. They haven't lost two games in a row, or at least drew and lost. So it's a big game for Arsenal, and also a big game for West Ham because they don't be relegated. And I thought about it the other day. I said to myself, what if they go relegated? They go down, right? And they had that big stadium to fill empty seats with.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just to me a conundrum, right? So I hope Arsenal can regroup and make some changes to the team. Arteta can't be afraid to make changes this late in the season because we're in a title hunt. That means sitting some players. That means bringing players in off the bench who don't sit playing time regularly. Has to be bold and but be brave as well.
Alonso, would you switch? Would you start Granit Xhaka?
Of course.
Okay. All right. Assemble, Gary. Something isn't right mentality going into some games. Is this a management or a player problem? I believe it's a player problem myself. Not forgetting the players do what the manager asks. It's a conundrum.
Yeah, like I said, I kind of feel like we don't come out to play those games like those. Those games are supposed to be games where players who don't get playing time come out and want to perform their best.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not seeing that. And then that's why Arteta eventually always has to bring on his starters. Like these guys don't really want. If they don't want it,
move them on.
Then they're not good. And these are players that we want to keep. Some of them. So
yeah,
like, what did Holding do in any of those games that you went? Yes. None.
Yeah.
None. What did Nketiah do in those Europa League games? Not much at all.
Not a lot.
These are games that he needs to show up, and he needs to be some of the better players on the pitch when he's playing. So, and it can't always be that if I don't play with the top of the first 11, then I can't perform. Sometimes you need to be the best player on the pitch.
Yeah,
and these players, a lot of these players have been the best players on the pitch in their time. So, you can, if we can't do it in Europa League, how are we going to do it in the Champions League next season? Right?
We got to bring in a couple more.
No, you can't bring in a couple
players.
because we can't even play in Europa League now. Now we can't even play in the Europa League now. You're telling me we go to the Champions League, we just bring in a couple of players and we'll be fine?
Yeah.
I'm not saying we'll be fine. We'll be competitive. We'll be better.
No, we won't be competitive because we're talking about a different level of play. We're struggling in Europa League.
That isn't true, Gary.
Look at our last 3 or 4 Europa League games this season. Not so good.
Tony?
Not so good.
Gary, go look at the group stages from about 2012, 2016. Look at the players we fielded in group stages. There might be 1 or 2 worthy starters in those Why
Listen,
not?
Arteta's going places, and the players will have to play, or else.
Yeah,
Are
but-
you
they'll
talking
moved
about
on.
when we made it to the semis and the final? Is that what you're talking about? In those years?
Quarterfinals?
That we made it to the semis with that's how we lost to Villarreal in the semis with the opportunity to go to the final, right?
That's the Europa League. We're talking about Champions League.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that's what he was talking about. Sorry. What does this Champions League have to do with what I was saying?
It shows that you have to have confidence in the players. You have to have players that are willing to play for you, and those two things lack right now.
As I said, he does.
Does Arteta trust every player on the squad?
And I think you're proving my point because I'm saying the players will come out ready to play, and
It's both of them. You have to. The manager has to have confidence in you, or you're not going to go out there and play.
Yeah.
Tony, what do you mean by trusting, right? You mean trusting your academy kids?
Yeah. Yeah, if
They
academy
were
kids come in.
academy kids in those games.
Once upon a time, they were Alonso. Yeah. Now listen. Next
Right?
season, Tony.
Who did we play in the League Cup with Wenger?
Sebastian
did we play?
Squatchy.
We played a lot of young academy players.
Nothing
And
but
squad
academy players, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
And maybe three squad players.
We use the league club extensively to blood players and bring them through.
And
But
that's why you found the Nazaris and those type
Yeah.
of players.
Next season, Tony, we got to be better. We got to bring more players in. We got to bring.
So you're talking about bringing players in. I think Tony's talking about what about the players you already have in the academy? Like which players do you feel
No,
are you?
Tony's talking
No.
about 12 years ago.
No, I'm talking about squad players that you have now as well. The manager has to have faith in them
Mm-hmm.
so they can go out and play. But he doesn't pick them because he picks a team of half or all starters, like the Europa one I just showed you. Only one was Nelson. What did Nelson do in those games? He scored. He was playing well. So it's okay that Saka finally got a rest after playing almost 3,100 minutes so far this season.
Yeah. I'm going to go around. I believe we still have the mentality to bring this thing home and win the league. We have enough about us. The Assemble saying our mentality will be shown by the end of the season. Get
Can
some
I ask you a
popcorn
question, Ray?
and beer. Sit back is going to be extremely revealing. Yeah.
Because I know it's something I want to get to before the season ends. But is it sustainable to be playing players already 3,500 minutes and 3,100 minutes with 8 games left?
The players who have gotten us to this point in the season, playing one game a week.
That's a lot of freaking minutes. You think?
Don't
Saka,
worry about it, Tony. It's one game a week.
You think Saka and Gabriel and all those players hold up playing that much?
Yeah.
We're talking about a league title that we haven't won for 19 years. And, these players are playing one
It's
game
not
a week
sustainable, right?
Well, you're talking. I hope you're talking about next season because this season we don't have a choice.
He's talking about this season.
We don't have a choice. They're playing. We're gonna play to win. So we gotta play our best players because we don't have the depth.
Tony, you have a chance to win the league for the first time in 19 years, and you can't back off from that.
You make it sound like you're gonna sit players. You're not sitting players.
You've had
with
the
8 games
chances
left
to
in this
sit
season.
players we haven't seen.
Yeah, but we're not doing it now. You only have 8 games left. One midweek game, and that's it. Right now, you are not sitting your players because
I'm
because
saying
you know
they
what they've
should have
got.
been sit.
It's too late
Okay,
now.
but it's too late. Yeah. Look forward. You're always looking back.
I am
Look
looking
forward.
forward.
No, you're not. You keep talking
We're gonna
about
be
the
playing the
3,300
fucking
minutes.
Champions League. We're gonna be in the Champions League, no matter what.
Next
We're gonna
season.
be in the Champions League.
Next season.
Next season,
Yeah.
we're going to be in the Champions League.
Yeah, this
With
season.
style of play, can you play your players 3,500 minutes in the Premier League
No,
and play in the Champions League? No.
no.
You need your reserve and young players to play in
What does
those
that have
games.
to do with this season?
Yeah, this is the discussion for July.
Because it's the whole narrative I want to get to. This is not sustainable. Us
But wait,
thinking we're going to
how
have
do
a
you-
4 or
that's-
5
what-
year run in the top 4 is not sustainable because we're likely to drop to 5th or 6th based
This-
on what
this season?
Arteta's tactics are.
This season, we're going to drop to 5th or 6th.
Next season,
But we're not. We don't even know who's going to be on the squad in next season.
I know, and that's dangerous.
So why are we
got the
talking
midfield.
about? We have 8
know why-
games to play, and we need to win all 8 games.
You
We're
know
gonna
what he's
play our
doing,
best
Gary?
11. What?
El
He's
Nene,
setting
Jorginho.
an agenda now that's going to
That's
go
not
all
an
the way
agenda.
through the summer into next
What do you mean
season.
it is an agenda? Because you're talking about something. We're in the middle of a
It's
Premier
something I-
League run right now. You're
It's
talking
something I
about
mentioned
you're
already
talking about
3 or
some
4
Champions
times
League
about
game
already.
that we haven't even got to the point. We were like what 1 win away from qualifying for that, right?
That's what I'm saying. No matter what, we're not being it.
So what does that have to do with the 8-game run that we're on that we need to be on right now?
Nothing.
It's sustainability,
Lonzo left.
Gary.
You're not answering my question because you don't want to take the L. It's fine.
Come on, Tony. You're better than this.
Do you think it's sustainable?
No, but that has nothing to do with what we're talking
about.
about right now. We're
Is it
talking
sustainable
about
to
apples
play
and you're
in?
talking about oranges and then trying to say why the colors are
Gary,
different. Yes, they are.
Is it sustainable to be playing those players 3,500 minutes and
Tony,
3,100
How many
minutes?
times are we going to say
No.
no? It's not
We agree with you,
sustainable.
Tony. We agree with you. But we're in a situation right now where we're 6 points ahead, having played a game
I know,
more.
but you and other fans have been talking how we have this like 4 or 5 year run. We might just have a 1 year run.
Who's talking about a 4 or 5 year run? We're talking about 8 games right now,
That
Tony.
guy over there, Ray.
Me. I mean, why can't we do this again next year? If we get
Because
more
it's not
players.
sustainable. Ray.
Worry about these 8 games. Please, just worry about these 8 games. Okay? All right. Your confidence that we're going to win the league at this point in time. I'm 65% confident that we can win the league from here. Gary, 8 games left. Listen, it's City. It's not going to be easy to go to their place. I think even if we lose at City, we lost at the Emirates and we won again.
Yeah, I mean, I tell you, we are 3 games from winning it. We go on a 3-game winning streak. We win it.
Which 3?
Next 3.
Yeah.
In the next 3,
I'm behind that.
we have control. So for me, it's pretty.
What's your confidence level?
You're 60.
I'm
I'm probably around
65.
60, 70. Yeah.
Okay.
Around 60, 70.
You're about the same as me, okay?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna hold you accountable to this, okay? It's just a little bit of fun. Tony, he's gonna be under, right? Tony, what's your
Fucking
confidence
internet will
level?
load for me.
Huh?
Except
Form
the internet
table?
will load for me. I'll answer your question.
You should know now. You should have a feel for it right now. What have you been feeling? Alonso, what's your confidence level? We're gonna win the league.
I think we do. I think Arsenal can maybe do like 70%, 70%. That will win the
20?
league.
What?
70%. Yeah.
70%. Okay. All right. Tony, chime in when you've got it. When you've come to a decision. Newcastle City, 2 biggest hurdles last time against Newcastle. Didn't have it. Isak banging in goals. And last time we didn't have most of our best
We didn't have
players.
Jesus.
Yeah. We didn't
Right.
have a lot of the team when we went to Newcastle.
Yeah.
last
And
season.
Newcastle still has a good defense, right?
Yeah, they do. Liverpool had a good defense.
We have a good defense too. You make it sound like they're the only team with a good defense.
Our defense has not been good since
Our
we
best
came back from
since
Away
what?
from home.
We've
Away from home.
we're one of the
best.
and we're going on the road to play them.
Yep.
Where we are one of the best teams on the road. So if you're going to give them props for being really good at home, we are really good on the road.
Thank you, Gary.
Better
Thank
than
you.
they are at home.
Yes.
I didn't give them any props for us doing their overall goal.
Yeah, but we are better than them. We're better than them on the road than they are at home.
Tony, why does goal difference matter to you so much?
Why does what?
He's
Goal difference.
protagonist.
We just talked about this earlier. You missed
No,
it.
but I mean, I wasn't here earlier, so please explain.
Ray, is it important?
No,
Right
asking
now,
you.
there's a chance that we'll have a playoff with City based on how close we are on goal difference.
Wow.
It is.
Playoff means you have to score the same amount of goals and concede the same amount of goals. That would be a
Look how
playoff.
close they are, right?
Yeah,
You don't
that's
think it's
still-
possible?
that's still a long shot. That would be crazy.
We've been
because-
close to it. Well,
The league
the
is decided
positions we've
on
been
points, and then goal difference, and then goals for and against.
we were really close to doing that with Spurs last season.
Yeah. Listen, we won the league at Liverpool in 1989 based on goal difference.
65%, right?
We scored more goals than Liverpool. Our mentality will be shown by the end of the season. Yeah, got that one. It will be 2 to 3 years before we are good enough to be competitive in Champions League. We just don't have the squad yet. It's going to
Why
take
do we
time.
always have to hear that?
Also, needs to up his game to the
Even
Champions
you
League
just
level.
said we're not going to be competitive in a Champions League.
No, I said we're not to be competitive in the league.
But we'll be competitive in the Champions League, you think?
Why is that funny?
Yeah, I can't see it.
Man.
I can't see it, but that's
It's not funny.
It is me, right? Yeah, Tony.
You don't remember 3 years ago, City beat us by a point and got to the finals of a Champion League? Were they that much of a better team than us? No.
Yes.
City beat us by a point?
No, not City. Spurs.
Oh, well, you're talking about Tottenham. Come on. Don't ever compare us to Tottenham.
And how are they doing in the
They
league that
still
year?
got to a fucking final. It's luck. Championship is luck.
Champions League is luck. You're right. But you have to be a very good team and have some luck.
It's
Like-
luck, but Real Madrid keeps getting there.
It,
Yeah,
they
have-
were lucky last
And
year.
on
They were terrible.
route to winning it, I think they beat Liverpool and City
Yeah.
in
They were
back-to-back
ready to
games.
go
But
out of it. They looked
but it's
very
luck.
poor.
It's luck.
They looked very poor until they started winning.
BX said City, Chelsea, Newcastle, Brighton, big hurdles left. I think we can beat Chelsea and Brighton at home. The league will be decided by our games away from home at City and Newcastle. But I believe Gary's right. If we win the next 3 games, I think that will be it. You know what I mean? Because that will be us getting 3 points and City not. How badly do we want it? Will come into question. Arsenal are in the driving seat. Let's see what we do. Yeah, I think we are. We have players assembled who are killers right now. Saka's a killer. Martinelli's a killer. We need
Trossard is if he gets a chance.
Trossard is a silent killer. Yep. Jesus will do it too. I'd like to see Erdegaard kick it up a little bit again. I think he's maybe on the back of just this performance. I feel like he's tailed a little
I mean,
bit.
if I recall, in the Liverpool match, he did have a couple of nice passes.
Yeah.
Not
Now-
enough, but he did have some in that game. So
When I watched that game back, I felt a little bit more comfortable about it in that we lost that game in the last 10 minutes. You know what I mean? Or we didn't lose it. We drew the game.
We did lose it in the last minute, right? Because
We won.
Right.
We drew.
right past there, we would have won it.
Yeah.
So-
City are battling the treble, so let's see if they slip up.
I hear a lot of people talking about, well, they're playing all these extra games.
Yeah.
They are built to play this way. They are
That's
built
it.
to play this way. When they go to their bench, they still win.
Yeah.
They keep the game tight, or they have a lead, and then they put it away with
And
their good players if they need to. But
they can play in a rhythm. They can play every 3 days. We need to beef up our squad to be in that position. I like the way the assemble's being positive here. They'll slip up if we do our job. And I think that's what it's all about. Do your job. Arsenal just win games, starting against West Ham. I think we need to go to West Ham and score at least 5 goals. The emphasis has to be on scoring goals. As Tony said, goal difference and scoring
Ray
goals.
said earlier in the show.
I said earlier in the show as well. It's got to happen. So listen, I think we'll get out of here unless there's any final points anyone wants to make.
yeah, no, you're talking about scoring 5 goals, and the way we show that we can go on a road and beat City is how we play in these games against teams that are below us in the table. Scoring 5 on West Ham shows that, especially at this point in the season. We're definitely rested up top, so that shouldn't be an issue. We have enough players to rotate around, even if we did get tired.
Players in form too.
So, that should not even be an issue. And, West Ham, I mean, I think they rested some players, but who are they resting that when they play us, it's going to make a difference? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Antonio did come on and play, so they didn't rest him.
Did you watch the game today? They drew 1-1.
I watched some of it. Yeah, are they as controlled and disciplined as Liverpool? No. We're way better. We are playing much better football than they are. And as somebody said, if we play them the way we played the first 20 minutes against Liverpool, we should be up 3-4-0 in the first half.
Yeah.
And that's what we need, one of those kind of games where we go into halftime and he's subbing out players because, we're up 4-0 and they need to get a run out anyway. So
sub out players, but those players score goals as well and add to the tally. You know what I mean?
So you still think it goes to the final week, Ray?
What?
So you still think it goes down to the final week?
Yeah. All I want to do is
it will if we don't do our job when we play City.
I think we're up against. I think there's many games. There's eight or 9 games left. We've got 8. They've got 9, and I can see both of us winning the majority of those games. And it's going to come down to playing each other directly. It's going to come down to the Newcastle game.
If we were win our next 3 games and we beat them, we'll have 12 points.
Yeah.
And they'll have 2 games in
2 games on hand. Yeah.
All right, and they don't play us anymore.
Yeah.
So there is so much riding on these next 3 games to put ourselves in a really good position. Because even a slip up at Newcastle wouldn't make a difference, but we need to get, as somebody said, I think we need to get like 7 points out of those 3 games to definitely put ourselves in a good position.
Yeah.
Dropping points in all 3 games will be tough if we don't get a draw in the Etihad.
Yeah, and that's going to be
showing the team every week.
The Etihad is going to be a tough place to go to, but we're not going to be playing if the atmosphere is a situation or the crowd. We're not going to be playing them. We're going to be playing a very good quality side, just like we are.
It's not going to be the game that decides the season, though.
You know what? We just talked about what the crowd can do in a game because we just played in it. You're telling me if City has an opportunity, their fans will not be up for that game, just like Liverpool's fans were up for this game. It doesn't matter how good or bad they were playing; they were going to be up for this game. It's the same thing. Now they have an opportunity to not only get the 3 points, but also put themselves in position to finish off the league. So It will. It's gonna. This is no different than the Liverpool match. There's a lot riding on this thing for both teams.
Yeah. Samuel said the Everton loss is coming back to haunt us. Yeah, there's going to be, if we don't win the league, there's going to be plenty of places where we're going to look back.
The Brentford 2 points lost. I mean, there's different. You can go all over the place and find
Don't tell
potential.
Stan.
Southampton too.
Southampton, yeah. But look, if City don't win it as well and they lose out by a point or two, their fans are going to look back at results that they didn't
There's
get.
one game I would make sure we won if I was Arteta.
The next
And the
one,
players.
Tony. The next one.
No. It's
Yes,
fucking
we have to win the
Newcastle.
next one.
It's
Newcastle,
Newcastle
yeah.
because if the players showed up for that fucking game, we had been in the top 4 last year.
Why going right to the past,
What are
Tony?
you
Last
talking
year,
about a game that already happened? What about the games that are happening?
Because we still got to play them this year.
So what does the last year's game have to do with this one?
Because we did not show up when we needed to win. That would be a good thing to do.
We had injuries as well, Tony. I don't.
But Tony,
We did not show up to play that fucking game.
But we
It
should
doesn't matter
won.
who-
We should won a 3 previous games too.
The Newcastle game wasn't the reason why we lost. It was the 3 games against the 3 games against teams way down the
If
table
we
from
won
us.
Newcastle, would we been in?
No, the
Champions
3
League?
games in a row that we lost to teams that were like at the bottom, like in the
You're
mid
both
table.
right. You're both
The
correct.
Newcastle came up after that.
Yeah.
Before we played Tottenham, and if we won either one of those games, we would have been
Do
in
you know what our
control of the
chance of winning
situation.
the league was going into the Newcastle game?
We win one of those games,
78.
one of those 3 games, it wouldn't matter. It
It
wouldn't
was
have mattered
74% going into that game.
74%.
if we won one of those 3 games, Tony,
Yeah. Listen,
because they
Tony,
dropped points.
Tony,
It was
live in the
73%
now.
of that time.
Don't look back. Look forward, Tony. We got 8 games to go here.
No, but that's a good. You have a team coming up. That would be the one Vincent's game you have set up.
No, if we don't
Say, you
win the
guys
next 2, it doesn't matter what
gotten
we do. If we don't beat
shit
City, it
last
doesn't
year.
matter what we do. We can't. No, we're winning one game at a time, Tony. You're talking about a
Yeah.
game that's like a month away.
It's important.
It's not important. When do we play? Do we play them before or after City?
What is important here is the next game. And I jumped ahead to City earlier in the podcast and the end of this month. But the end of this month is not important if we don't win on Sunday and if we don't beat Southampton before the City game. And as Gary said, minimum of seven points, if not 9, will do this for us short term. Alonso, any final points? I know you got here a little bit later, but
Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice that we could finally beat City at the Etihad. If I were Arteta, right, I showed him a tape of the last time we beat them. I believe it was 2014, 2015, when something was already a masterclass performance in that game. I would show him that tape, that game, and tell them everything they did right in that game. And because City are beatable, they're not invincible, right? But I think Gary's right. They had to play every game after, I guess, our last game. Especially when we play West Ham and Southampton. They're easy games, but somehow, some way, Arsenal make it always so hard to play those trap games, and it's going to be a hurdle, I guess, because every game is important. They got to play with class. They had to play with pride. They had to play with. They had to be brave. They had to do what works for them all year long. And we didn't have Gabriel Jesus in that first game against City, so it'd be interesting to see what happens. And yeah, you know, I'm excited about what the future has for us. I'm very optimistic.
Did Partey play in that game when City played us?
No, Jorginho played in that one, I believe.
Yeah, so we haven't played. Maybe Saliba is not going to be there. But we haven't played City with Gabriel Jesus and
Because
Partey.
of the Queen.
in the lineup. What?
Because of a queen.
What is?
Talking about- What?
The queen
We're talking about Man City.
is a rescheduled game.
Ah, okay. All right. Yeah. Moving on. Alonso, thanks for joining. Listen, we're going to get out of here. Gary, what have you got last? Thanks for joining, Gary.
Yep.
Lively discussion. Tony didn't want to engage in answering any of our questions.
Yeah, I did.
You did not. You did not.
You were
Don't
very
even-
difficult
don't even-
tonight,
You
don't
Tony.
did
even
not
say
answer
answer
my
then.
question about your
We
show's
did answer
title.
your question, and then we said, can you answer ours? And you said, let's talk about what happened 5 years ago.
Revisionist history with you. We went over Balogun 5 years ago, Champions League 10 years ago.
Balogun was 3 years ago. Sorry.
Yeah.
Did
Now
we
you
not
now you
waste
want to
the
be
guy's
now you want to be
career, right?
precise.
Did we not waste this season?
Oh my gosh, are you still going
Oh,
on about this?
3,000 minutes. There's the agenda. It's growing now. Watch everybody. It's going to go through the
There's
summer
no agenda.
into next season. His agenda, you know. Tony,
Yes.
Gary, you have a show on Saturday?
Yeah, I was on Saturday. The road trip do our match day. Since none of our teams are playing, I think we'll just be chatting like we usually do about whatever games are happening.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm
Leeds
not
play?
sure about Sunday. I have like
Oh yeah,
maybe
Leeds play Monday.
some family obligations, so I might not be available on Sunday.
Okay,
Might have to
Yeah,
watch the game from the road and stuff. So
cool.
Yeah, I'm working myself too.
Well, Alonso?
I'm working myself.
Okay.
But on a Saturday, make sure you tune into NASCAR watch Martin Truex Jr. win the race.
yes, people.
All right, Tony. We have to hit 100% here of our 75 points target. We're already on 73, so we're 4 points more than we were last season, but we have 8 more games to go, Tony.
So you're still saying we need 90.
We need 90. Yes, minimum 90.
I'm glad you changed your mind, Ray.
I'm glad I did too. It's called you have to as you go through the season, you adjust your targets and you have to expect your team to hit certain targets. I don't want to finish second now. You know what I mean? I want to win the league for the first time. I didn't think we'd be talking about this for the first time in 19 years this season, but we have a chance to do it. We need to do it.
Yeah, second's a failure, but it's not a firing. So
No,
I told. Go ahead, Gary.
no, I was just gonna say second is a failure, but it's not a reason to fire our manager.
no.
Like some people want to fire him because they want to fire him now because of how Liverpool game went. So
Wow, that's harsh. But yeah,
and
listen.
then they're gonna turn around and tell you that it's tough to win at Anfield. We scored 2 goals there, and how many people scored 2 goals there in the last 2-3 months? Not many, if any at all.
No, but nobody. I would like to know what probably I know the Leicester City game might be the least amount of shots that Liverpool have had on target. I'll check it out. And still won the game. You know what I mean? Tony, take us out of here. Thanks, Gary, Stan, Alonso, and Tony tonight.
Yeah, despite that poor second half we had, still could have won that game at the end of it. Wrong pass there, but hopefully it doesn't cost us. Still don't see how you guys see Newcastle best defense, us going on the road with them being in a Champions League spot, wanting to keep that. And after kicking our ass last year when we could have clinched fourth, it's a big game.
Liverpool killed us last year. How many goals did we score against them? How many did they score against us? Even worse than Newcastle.
Mhm. Yeah.
We
And
should
the
be
thing
also
is,
That
beat them.
Newcastle game, we did not show up to play at all.
And the two City games, we didn't show up in the second half in one, and in the other one we got destroyed, right?
yeah, and look, what you're discounting, Tony, is Arsenal the team with the best away record in the league, and you're saying we can't go to Newcastle and win.
Did we win at Newcastle at home?
Oh my God, dude.
Where
Things
where
change.
where were we at then, Ray? At home wins. How many in a row?
What?
So how many were we winning at home at that point?
When we played Newcastle last season?
This season.
Oh, you're talking about the draw at the Emirates.
Yes, Ray.
Okay, so
I'm talking about our stellar home form.
you think
went away
Newcastle
when we
will
played.
hold
We
us?
have the best record at home right now, even with the blemish. What are you talking about, Tony?
Ray's blabbering about away record.
We have the best home and away record right now.
And we tied the team.
We have the best
And
home
they have the best
and
defense.
away record right now.
Did we beat them, Gary?
Did they beat us?
No.
Okay,
No.
so
Yeah,
Wow, we got an answer out of him, Gary.
Can those 4 points cost us the league?
what 4
Okay.
points? They only played them once.
So you
We
can
play
ever
them again at
Southampton.
Newcastle.
Yeah, we haven't played that yet. You're counting that as a points
I'm
dropped
saying if.
already?
I'm just saying if.
You're counting it as a loss already. We haven't even played
No,
it.
I'm saying if. I
You're
did
counting
a
it.
draw for
You're
you.
thinking we
I did
might
a
lose
draw.
that game.
I did a draw, Gary. I said 4 points.
We're gonna go through our predictions. You'll have opportunity to get your predictions of the final 5 or 6 games. Maybe next Thursday we'll do that, Tony. So figure out what's going to happen. Thanks. Listen, this is a long goodbye. Thanks everybody for watching. Slap a like on the video. Check out Gary on the road trip on Saturday. The full Nelsons maybe Saturday evening as well. And come
we
back
might
to
have a watch along. Not set in stone.
Come back to us on Sunday as well for the Sunday show. Take care, everybody. We're out of here.